Thank you, Kong Khalid. The next order of business is the calling of the roll of members.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Chairman Ako.
may I respectfully move that we dispense with the calling of the rolls. So move, Mr. Chair.
There's a
Second,
motion
Mr.
to
Chair.
call the roll, members. Duly seconded. In objection, the chair says, and the motion is carried. Comsec, please acknowledge all the members present.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, everyone. We would like to acknowledge the Honorable Romeo M. Acop, 2nd District, Antipolo City. Honorable Yasser Alonto Balindong, 2nd District, Lanao del Sur. Honorable Zia Alonto Adiong, 1st District, Lanao del Sur. We also have the Honorable Ivan Howard Ginto, Pinuno Party List, and the Honorable Joseph Lara, 3rd District, Cagayan. They will be joining us lately. And also, we have the Honorable Muhammad Khalid Dimaporo, 1st District, Lanao del Norte.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Comsec. Please acknowledge all the resource person and guests present today.
Your Honor, from the Commission on Audit, we have Ms. Rachel Policarpio, Supervising Auditor, and Ms. Krisha Henyo, Audit Team Leader. From the DBM, we have Assistant Director Carlos Castro, Ms. Perpetual Judea Kiazon. From the Department of Foreign Affairs, we have Honorable Mardomel Celo, Melicor Assistant Secretary, Attorney Robert Ferrer, and Mr. Lemuel Lopez, Assistant Director. From the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, we have Attorney Giling Mamondiong, Secretary, the Commissioner Dalisay Makadawan, Commissioner Samer Along, Commissioner Yusof Mando, Commissioner Datu Ras S. Lidasan Jr., Attorney Michael M. Mamukid, Commissioner Michael M. Mamukid, and Director Rolando T. Abo. Also joining us are the following: Mr. Ali Magintaw, Mr. Abdullah Makaurao, Mr. Kusari A. Mukhtar, Mr. Abdul Kudus Mdalano, Mr. Anwar Magandia, and Mr. Abdul Basit Makarampat. They are sheikhs. Also joining us are Attorney Maumina Abdullah and Director Heidi Ampatuan from the NCMF, and also Attorney Haron Ali. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Comsec. Before I proceed with my opening remarks and taking about all the resource person present, may I call the attention to Section 15 of our Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. This is addressed to the members of this committee. Section 15 reads, Termination of Inquiry. The committee shall terminate an inquiry and submit a report thereon within 60 calendar days from the date of commencement, unless the committee, by a majority vote of members present, there being a quorum, deems it necessary to extend such inquiry. The inquiry commences on the date of referral of the privileged speech, resolution, or petition or information to the concerned committee. The two privileged speeches by Rep. Adiong and Rep. Balindong on the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, management and coordination of the HAJJ pilgrimage, focusing on the utilization of public funds and ensuring adherence to the mandated standards, and which are subject matter of this hearing, have been pending with the Committee on Public Accounts since August 15, 2023. Unfortunately, our committee was engaged in other equally important matters, so we were unable to set a schedule for the hearing immediately. And the fact is, we have a long vacation break the previous month. So Section 15 allow us to extend the inquiry even after the lapse of 60 days by majority vote of members, there being a quorum. Having said so, do I hear a motion to revive and extend the deliberation of the two privileged speeches? Chairman Ako.
Yes, Mr. Chair, pursuant to our rules, may I move that we extend the period insofar as the hearing of this issue is concerned. So move, Mr. Chair.
There is a motion to extend and revive the deliberation of the two privileged speeches.
Second, Mr. Chair.
Duly seconded. Any objections? The chair is none. The motion is carried. Allow me to read the opening remarks of the chair. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and distinguished guests, good afternoon. We gather here today for the initial hearing on the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, Management and Coordination of the HAJJ Pilgrimage, focusing on the utilization of public funds and ensuring adherence to the mandated standards. This inquiry has been prompted by the referral of two privileged speeches to the committee delivered by Rep. Zia Alonto Adiong of the 1st District of Lanao del Sur on July 31, 2023, and Rep. Yasser Alonto Balindong of the 2nd District of Lanao del Sur on the same date. These speeches highlight concerns regarding NCMF leadership, pointing out the ineffective use of public funds and failure to fulfill their mandated responsibilities. As we are all aware, the HAJJ pilgrimage holds immense significance for our Filipino Muslim brothers and sisters, as this is a part of their spiritual journey and one of the pillars of their faith and devotion. There are allegation assertions that critical issues have risen with the NCMF handling of the HAJJ pilgrimage under its current leadership. These include concerns about the pilgrims being stranded, facing inadequate accommodation, logistical failures, substandard services, and experiencing a lack of coordination, prompting serious doubts about the leadership ability to meet the NCMF mandate. Concerns about the high cost of HAJJ, unexpected additional fees, and discrepancies in the quality of service, such as accommodation, food, and transportation, provided to the pilgrims are also surfacing. Last but not the least, there were reports that a group of internally displaced persons from Morawe were selected as winners in the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos raffle. They were initially promised an all-expense paid HAJJ pilgrimage for the year 2019, which was postponed to 2023 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite reassurances and official communications confirming the offer for the 2023 HAJJ, the participants were left unable to attend due to unprocessed visa applications, resulting in wasted expenses and unfulfilled spiritual aspirations. This to me is simply inexcusable. Our role as Committee on Public Accounts is clear. We are tasked to investigate, to hold accountable, and to ensure that such failures in duty and service do not happen again. We are called to uphold the principles of transparency and accountability to protect the rights and welfare of our Filipino Muslims undertaking the HAJJ pilgrimage. In the sessions to come, we will hear testimonies, scrutinize documents, and seek answers. We will work diligently to uncover the truth and ensure that justice is served. Let us conduct this legislative investigation with impartiality, fairness, and with the utmost respect for the truth. This is just about the failures of a pilgrimage. This is about upholding the trust of the Filipino people, ensuring the proper use of public funds, and safeguarding the spiritual journey of our Filipino Muslim brothers. The NCMF main objective is to uphold and enhance the well-being of the Muslim Filipinos, ensuring their active participation in national development while respecting their beliefs, customs, culture, and traditions. The agency aligns its efforts with national laws promoting unity and development across the country. Tasked with policy making, planning, and program implementation, the NCMF focuses on preserving and developing the culture, traditions, and institutions of Muslim Filipinos. It also implements economic, educational, cultural, and infrastructure programs tailored to Muslim Filipino communities, taking into account their unique beliefs, customs, traditions, and institutions. If the current leadership is not effective, then we have a duty as legislator to examine and scrutinize it thoroughly in aid of legislation. Thus, a comprehensive investigation is imperative to ascertain accountability and prevent similar occurrences in the future. There is a pressing need to establish clear and reliable communication channels alongside transparent financial practices that ensure all collected fees are accompanied by official receipts. Furthermore, it is crucial to provide adequate support from the NCMF to the affected individuals, not only to cover their financial losses, but also to mitigate the emotional and spiritual distress caused by this incident. Let us begin this hearing with open minds and committed hearts as we seek accountability, justice, and solutions to ensure the success and well-being of future HAJJ pilgrimages. Thank you, and may our proceedings be guided by wisdom, justice, and steadfast commitment to the public good. Comsec, before we proceed with the sponsorship remarks of the two gentlemen from Lanao Sur, and of course the statement coming from the chairman of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, Chairman Khalid Dimaporo, please administer the oath of all the resource persons present in today's hearing.
May I ask all the invited resource persons to please stand up and raise your right hands, please. Everyone, please. Mr. Solaman, please. Okay. Continue. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth before this committee, so help you God? The oath has been administered, Your Honor.
Thank you, Comsec. The first author to deliver his opening remarks as positive speech is Congressman Zia Alonto Adiong. Please proceed, Kong Adiong.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Chairman Paduano, Chair Romeo Acop, Chair Khalid Dimaporo, and to my colleague, Assembly Congressman Yasser Balindong and Congressman Howie, sa ating mga guest, invited guest, ang gandang hapon po sa ating lahat. So, Honorable Chairperson and distinguished members of the Committee on Public Accounts, the Hajj pilgrimage, one of the 5 pillars of Islam, is a profound act of worship and submission to the will of God. It represents a spiritual journey that unites millions of Muslims worldwide in acts of deep reflection, humility, and unity. In the Philippines, Mr. Chair, the NCMF is entrusted with the solemn duty under Republic Act 9997 to administer to, formulate policies for, and supervise this annual pilgrimage, ensuring that our fellow Muslim brothers and sisters can fulfill the religious obligations with dignity and with ease. However, Mr. Chair, it has become evident that the NCMF has failed in executing this duty in accordance with their mandate. Furthermore, as borne out in the hearings of the House of Representatives, the actions of the NCMF fall without or beyond the mandate and authority given to them by their charter. Mr. Chair, the 2023 Hajj pilgrimage witnessed a significant increase in costs, with each pilgrim bearing a 40% rise from 2019. While the NCMF is tasked with managing millions of pesos, it also raises questions regarding the proper utilization of these funds as stipulated in Republic Act 9997. So, Mr. Chair, we must ask, has a special trust fund, as required by the law, been established? 2, have the funds been subject to auditing laws, rules, and regulations? 3, are the purchases made in line with the country's procurement laws and procedures? Mr. Chair, these, among other plethora of other irregularities, are matters that pertain to the Commission's high officials. Not a penny of the NCMF's funds are to be spent without the knowledge and authorization of its high officials, meaning the Commission itself. The reports from Filipino pilgrims who undertook the 2023 Hajj pilgrimage, Mr. Chair, have highlighted disturbing issues that need urgent attention. Pilgrims face disorganization, delays, and logistical challenges throughout their journey. Overcrowding and safety risk in buses, substandard accommodations, and inadequate food provisions were just some of the major concerns raised. Mr. Chair, these pilgrims who embark on the spiritual significant journey deserve better treatment, and it is distressing that they were subjected to such conditions. The Hajj is a journey of spiritual sacrifice. That does not mean that the agency tasked with the duty to ensure the ease and dignity of that journey is allowed to neglect our pilgrims. The responsibility of the overall well-being of our pilgrims falls upon the officials of the NCMF. They have the command responsibility over the conduct of their subordinates, more so if they exercise actual de facto control over such subordinates during the Hajj. We also question the absence of allegedly top NCMF officials during these events, with reports suggesting they were attending to other engagements. How can they fulfill their public duty when they are preoccupied with their own rituals? This raises concerns about the competence of some of the officials in performing their tasks. The NCMF's claim that the responsibility for services in Saudi Arabia lies solely with the Saudi providers is inaccurate. The Commission and its officials have an obligation to coordinate with these providers to avoid disruptions, file protests on behalf of pilgrims, demand compensation, and blacklist errant service providers. This is precisely the reason why the NCMF conducts preliminary visits to Saudi Arabia with their entourage and supervisory team, spending millions of public money to ensure that the services that are being paid for are adequate. They are also responsible if, despite passing the preliminary meetings, these service providers breach their contract to hold them to account. These issues have persisted and recurred, with similar problems reported during the 2022 Hajj pilgrimage. The time has come for the House of Representatives Committee on Public Accounts to determine the accountability of the public officials involved. The Hajj pilgrimage is not just a religious obligation, but an opportunity to promote cultural exchange and strengthen diplomatic ties with other countries. By ensuring a smooth pilgrimage, we project a positive image of the Philippines to the global Muslim community. May Allah guide us in our endeavors and grant us the wisdom to resolve these challenges effectively. Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing me to share these thoughts before the esteemed members of this committee. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you, Congressman Adiong. The next to deliver his sponsorship remark is Congressman Balindong. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace, mercy, and blessings of Allah be upon us all. Honorable Chairman Joseph Stephen Paduano, honorable members of the Committee on Public Accounts, other members of the House of Representatives, resource persons, guests, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Chairman Paduano in scheduling the immediate hearing of the privileged speech delivered by this representation and Honorable Zia Alonto regarding the conduct of the 2023 Hajj under the administration of the NCMF. Last year, pursuant to the resolutions filed by this representation and by Honorable Adiong and Honorable Hataman, the Committee on Muslim Affairs conducted an investigation into the 2022 Hajj. As complaints against NCMF continue to persist in the 2023 Hajj, this representation and Congressman Adiong were constrained to deliver our respective privileged speeches, which were referred to this honorable committee. Incidentally, the matters to be ferreted out are within the jurisdiction of the honorable committee, which involved the examination and scrutiny of audit reports on the performance of the NCMF to determine its adherence to or compliance with the plans and programs authorized through appropriations approved by the legislature. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, performing Hajj is a life goal for us Muslims who are expected to join the pilgrimage at least once in our lifetime. If you are financially and physically capable, the profound significance of this activity to more than 10 million Muslims in the Philippines prompted Congress to create and maintain the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, or NCMF, under Republic Act number 997. The law specifically mandates the NCMF to administer all programs, projects, and activities, formulate the necessary rules and regulation, and coordinate with pertinent offices to ensure the success of the annual Hajj or pilgrimage to Mecca, Saudi Arabia. In other words, the law mandate the NCMF involves only three things: administer, formulate, and coordinate to ensure the success of the annual Hajj. To achieve this goal, funds have been allocated in the General Appropriations Act for the operation of the NCMF. The same agency has also been authorized by law to collect and administer specified money to be paid by the pilgrims who wish to join the Hajj. Through this investigation, we hope to determine if these amounts handled by the NCMF were spent in adherence to or in compliance with the authorized plans and programs. As there are complaints on poor accommodation, delayed food and transportation, not to mention the collection of questionable other items at the rate being demanded by the agency from the pilgrims. Some pilgrims were complaining that their hotel accommodation was old, dilapidated, and in some instances had no water or with limited water supply and with cockroaches. Other pilgrims are complaining that the food served to them was insufficient and not commensurate with what they have paid. Mr. Chairman, honorable colleagues, each pilgrim paid $264 or 14,473 pesos for transportation, but the bus service was at its worst. Last year, about 400 Filipino pilgrims were stranded on their way to Saudi Arabia. This year, 51 Filipino pilgrims were again stranded on their way back to the Philippines because they were not able to board their scheduled flight with Saudi Air. Republic Act number 997, which created the NCMF, is explicit on what are the things that NCMF should do and should not do. Through this investigation, we would like to know if the NCMF had exercised its power within the parameters of the law. We would like to know if the public officials who have been given the responsibility over the funds for the operation of the agency under the General Appropriations Act and the money entrusted to them by the pilgrims have faithfully administered the same. In line with the jurisdiction of this honorable committee, we pray that there be an examination and scrutiny of audit reports on the performance of the NCMF to determine its adherence to or compliance with the plans and programs authorized through appropriation approved by the legislature. As the representative of the 2nd District of Lanao del Sur, which is composed of predominantly Muslim constituents, it is my sworn duty to articulate the sentiments of my people to achieve what is envisioned in the law of our country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, honorable colleagues. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Congressman Yasser Balindong. Next is Congressman Khalid Dimaporo. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I'd like to acknowledge and extend my gratitude to Representatives Zia Alonto Adiong and Representative Yasser Alonto Balindong for their privileged speeches so that they can highlight the problem of the Hajj. Mr. Chair, the problem that they stated in their privileged speeches is not actually a problem that is solely dedicated to the 2023 Hajj. If I'm not mistaken, since the creation of the NCMF, every year may problema ang Hajj pilgrimage. There is no Hajj pilgrimage where we can say that has gone perfectly and smoothly. So we hope, as chairman of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, that this committee, the Committee on Public Accounts, can, use its strong arm to hopefully put the NCMF into shape so that there will be more transparency and better public service to the Filipino people, specifically Muslim Filipinos. Now, I ask that I be given time here, Mr. Chair, because I have some concerns that I have been grasping with over the budget deliberation. I think all of us here are concerned about transparency and whether or not the NCMF is compliant with our laws. Under Republic Act 997, it's very clear that the Hajj funds are supposed to be placed in a trust fund. Under our General Appropriations Act, there are specific provisions, special provisions that require the NCMF on how they undergo such funds and implement it as a trust fund. It is to my surprise that in the reports they have not complied. In the reply to me, they have not complied with the special provision of GAA for 2023, and they have not complied with the definition of a trust fund in accordance to COA DBM DOF Joint Circular number 1-97, January 2, 1997. So I'd like to turn over these documents to the committee secretariat for you to be able to study, Chairman. There's two things that I'm concerned of. They have not complied because of one agency, specifically the Bureau of Treasury. The Bureau of Treasury gave them an exemption. Now that's my question. Us in Congress, we said this is the law. Kailangan may trust fund. Does the Bureau of Treasury have the power to exempt the NCMF from the requirement of the law? Which is why I wrote Secretary Diokno if he can explain it to me. And unfortunately, since we're only allowed to ask questions once during the budget deliberation, they promised that they will give me an answer to my query, but they never did. So I'd like to submit my letter to Secretary Diokno to the committee. Hopefully, and if it is important to this investigation, the chair and the members of the committee can call the Bureau of Treasury and ask whether or not they are going beyond the law. So that's first. That's my one issue that I had during the budget. Secondly, is the mentality of the NCMF. I would like to read a reply from the NCMF, which in their own mind set their own definitions of a trust fund, and they define it as or perceive it as the Hajj pilgrimage funds as either a limited trust, private trust, or non-discretionary trust. So for us in government, it's very simple. You follow the COA, DBM, DOF joint circular. That is the government definition of a trust fund. However, in the NCMF, they perceive it differently because this is private funds, not public funds. That is where we have a problem. And I hope this committee can address that with the NCMF. Specifically this, and I'll submit this to the committee secretariat, Mr. Chair, is the reply of Attorney Abu of the NCMF. So we can get to the crux of the matter, whether or not these Hajj pilgrimage funds are to be treated as private funds or public funds. If we look at the DOF, and which is my problem when I dealt with this investigation in the Committee on Muslim Affairs, I also called COA. And when I asked COA for the audit report, what COA said is we have an audit report on the GAA funds of NCMF, but they don't have an audit report on the Hajj pilgrimage funds because the PNB account money of the pilgrims were never turned over to the treasury, were never converted to public funds. And I think that is the number one problem that we have, why we don't have transparency. We need our checks and balances. Secondly, Mr. Chair, I hope also this committee can also look into the procurement method. We have our Government Procurement Act, and the standard of or the style of NCMF is to fly to Saudi Arabia and conduct bidding. Is that allowed under the Government Procurement Act, or are they limited to doing their bidding here in the Philippines and coordinating with the necessary government agencies such as the Department of Foreign Affairs so that we can find proper service providers? So in the end, Mr. Chair, what we really want is transparency. Unfortunately, we were not able to achieve that under the Committee of Muslim Affairs. I hope now, under the Committee of Public Accounts, these issues will be treated more seriously. So I would like to turn over my documents to the committee secretariat, Mr. Chair, and I hope you can call the Bureau of Treasury so we can get their official reply into why they gave an exemption to the NCMF.
Thank you, Chairman Khalid. Anyway, COMSEC is directed to invite the Bureau of Treasury on the next hearing.
Noted, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, just to re-echo the concern of Congressman Khalid, since we've been talking about, and he raised the issue very well about audit. There's also, I believe, an internal audit conducted by DILG, because NCMF is under attached agency under the DILG. And may I also request that by next committee hearing that we'll be conducting, we'll also re-invite DILG, because they have also done their own internal audit regarding investigation regarding the 2023 Hajj. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Duly noted, Congressman Adiong. COMSEC is directed to also invite DILG. Yung sa Bureau of Treasury, it should be noted on our invitation that somebody has to represent the Bureau of Treasury that can answer directly on the issue being raised by Congressman Khalid Maporo. Baka magtuturuan na naman tayo next hearing. The same as with the DILG. Those officials directly involved or under the DILG, which handles now the NCMF. Dapat sila yung dumalubog next hearing. Now, before we proceed with the interpellations of members, I will give the floor to Secretary Mamujo. I will just give you 7 minutes, Secretary, because we don't have the opportunity of time. You have to suspend by 3 p.m. because session will resume 3 p.m. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I proceed to my opening statement, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Executive Director Tahli Dasan Jr., who is the Chief Operating Officer of the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment, and also Director Rolando Abo of the Bureau of Legal Affairs of the Commission. Your Honor, allow me to express on behalf of the National Commission Muslim Filipinos our gratitude to the House of Representatives for its unwavering support to the Commission's mandate, which is to preserve, develop the culture, tradition, institutions, and well-being of the Muslim Filipinos, as correctly pointed out by Congressman Balindong. The Muslim population is about 7 million, as reported by the Philippine Statistics Authority, which to us is very small. Which we believe that your Muslim population in this country is about 13 to 15 million, more than that number of 7 million. Mr. Chairman, as I have the tendency to be consumed by passion while speaking, and therefore ramble on and on, we have prepared the written statement and respect of the time of the Honorable Committee and its members, hoping that we will be able to cover in this open statement all the matters related to the HAJJ operation. Since we are only given a few minutes to give our open statement, may I go direct to the issues raised by our good congressmen? Because the two of them are my townmates in the Marantao, They are Alontos, and I also we all- we have the same barangay. First, mishandling of the administration of 2023 had characterized as by the following: issues on food and hotel accommodation in Makkah and Medina, Saudi Arabia. Number two, issues on the timeliness of service of food in Mina. 3, issues on water supply and hot aircon in Mina and Arafah. Number 4, issue on daily transportation in Musdalifah. Second, corruption in the administration of the funds allocated for the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment, as manifested by the issue on winner of free Hajj raffle conducted in 2019. This is 2019. Or before my tenure as Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Commission. And the reason why I acknowledge the presence of Executive Director Terry Dasan is because he is the OIC, Director of the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment. He must be very competent to tell us about this. Third issue is on the exorbitant increase in Hajj space compared to the previous Hajj. Mr. Chair and the distinguished members of this committee, these are the causes to which the suffering experienced by many pilgrims is being attributed. Simply stated, it is insinuated that NCMF not only fell short of its duty to administer Hajj smoothly, but also deliberately did so. We deny this vehemently. As promised, Mr. Chair, we will not delve deeper into the allegations in my opening statement. Suffice it to say that as can be gleaned from available records, which may be validated with our partner government agencies and other Hajj participating entities and individuals such as travel agencies, we also request, Mr. Chairman, that the travel agencies affected in the operation should be also be invited. Should be also invited. We have also airlines used by the pilgrims should also be invited. If we need to have a full blast investigation on this, we will be knowing anything and everything about the Hajj if we invite these people. An accredited site. The accredited site should be allowed to talk. Because the role of the site is crucial to the success or failure of the Hajj operation. The role of the SAIC, I would like to repeat, is crucial to the success or failure of the Hajj operation because they are the first line of supervisors. They are attending to their Jama. Then come the supervisory of the commission. As you can see, we are not denying the role of the SAIC. Your role is very crucial. You know that. You know that. From the beginning, in the recruitment of Hujjaj, you are involved. Up to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Nandoon kayo eh. And you are handling the movements of your Jama. Well, the 2023 Hajj operations is different from all the previous operations in that this is the year where the Commission woke up from deep slumber and finally instituted concrete measures to address the decades-old problems annually confronting the Hajj operation. Taon-taon po ito, as pointed out by the good chairman of the Committee on Muslim Affairs, Congressman Khalid Mapuro. Because every Hajj is unique. Iba-iba po ang pumupunta doon. I do not speak for my predecessors, nor will we make admissions on their behalf. But we are seeing, Mr. Chair, that that upon our assumption in March 22, the state of the Commission is one that needs so much improvements. Dahil po, ang sinabi ko sa inyo, taon-taon po yan, mayroong ibang problema. Kasi iba-iba pong taong pumupunta doon eh. Perhaps it is not for no reason that yours truly is arguably very popular or very, less popular, or should we say, less like NCMF Secretary, because immediately after my assumption to office have been on instituting reforms. My heart is bleeding for the pilgrims. As compared to other countries, because other countries are financing their pilgrims. But in this country, we are not financing the pilgrims of our people. They spend-
Intelligence Secretary Mamundong, you have 2 minutes left. Please wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to point out innovative measures adopted by NCMF to improve the health operation. We have adopted and institutionalized the NCMF health operation manual for the first time. We are having the operation manual. My predecessors started this during their time, but we completed the health operation in 2023. Number 2, early issuance of visa resulting to zero stranded pilgrims departing for Saudi Arabia. In the past po, visas are issued on the day they are scheduled to leave. In our case, we issue the visa 3 days or 1 week before the departure of pilgrims. That is a big improvement. Administration of competence exam as part of the accreditation of psych. We have given qualified examination or competence examination to our site. Why we have to give this? We want to make sure that the sites are competent in the performance of the duties and function as site. Yun ang ginawa po natin. Then next, we signed a MOA with the DOJ, Bureau of Immigration, on the provision of HAJJ special lane in the airport. Another first time. In the previous HAJJ, napakahirap na pumasok doon. Napakahirap na pumasok doon. But in the last HAJJ operation, tuloy-tuloy po yun. May special lane po sila. Signing with airlines such as Philippine Airlines and travel agencies. We want to make sure that these travel agencies and airlines fly according to the schedule approved by GACA of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Kasi nakabukol po yan. Pag yung schedule flight ng ating mga airplanes dito ay hindi ayon sa naaprubahan ng GACA. Pagdating doon po, napakahirap. Napakahirap.
Secretary Mamundong, you have exceeded for around 2 minutes. Sorry, I cut you short. Please submit na lang your prepared opening statement sa COMSEC because you're running out of time. Now, somebody from the SEC wants to deliver.
Mr. Chair, may I just interject?
Yes, please
On
proceed.
the statement of Secretary Mamundong, where he acknowledged the Executive Director Lidasan as the OIC BPE or Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment. I hope this committee can also look into that because in our investigation Committee on Muslim Affairs, that was the very big problem. There is no official BPE. There's no in charge of that department for the Hajj. Palaging OIC. Last Hajj, 2022, if I'm not mistaken, it was somebody else. And then before that, somebody else. Which is why, if you have that type of system, palaging ulit-ulit ang problema. So, I don't know if it is true that Executive Director is the OIC BPE for the 2023 Hajj, or if he has been the OIC BPE for how long. No? I think this is one of the things that the committee should may want to look into in terms of the leadership of NCMF. Just for clarification, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Khalid, for that clarification. Anyway,
And Mr. Chair, in addition
Yes,
to that,
please.
in addition to that, we also need to confirm whether the OIC head of the Bureau of Hajj Pilgrimage is the one being sent to Saudi Arabia, because I believe each year they have a special team, Hajj special team being sent to Saudi Arabia. So we would also like to know whether Lidasan is actually the one handling the special Hajj special team, because that should be a different case. The NCMF should not actually, for me, in my own understanding, should not create a special Hajj pilgrimage if the Bureau of Hajj and Pilgrimage Endowment Office is tasked to handle specifically that job. They don't need to create a Hajj special team for that purpose, Mr. Chair. So we need to know whether Lidasan is actually doing that specifically, or somebody else were appointed to do that task, Mr. Chair.
duly noted, Congressman Adyo. Anyway, we can directly ask after a statement coming from the Sheikh, if somebody would like to speak. Yes, please proceed. Please identify yourself. Yeah, please proceed.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ako po si Sheikh Abdullah Macaurao ng League of Mashaykh Foundation from Lanao del Sur and Marawi City. Sa ating mga congressman, lalo na sa ating magiting na chairman, thank you po sa pag-invite sa amin upang makapagbigay linaw ng kailangan na malinawan sa dito sa ating meeting. Tulad ng nabanggit ni Honorable Secretary Giling Mamunjong, yung task ng Sheikh dito sa taon-taon na paghahajj ay talagang crucial. Pero para sa aming mga Sheikh, nabanggit ni Congressman na we are legitimate to handle the Hajj because accredited na kami, nakapag-exam na kami. Para sa amin itong mga dumadaan na Hajj, kung mayroon man mga problema na nangyari, especially this 2023 Hajj operation, sa amin sa mga Sheikh ay walang involvement ng part namin dahil limited na po yung part namin sa pagsasike. Ang pinaka-mandate namin bilang Sheikh ay yung una-una yung pag-guide, yung ritual, Hajj rituals. Iga-guide namin ang mga Haji doon sa rituals, yung manasikul Hajj. Mula sa pag-recruit sa kanila sa aming mga bayan hanggang ma-schedule ang flight namin o makarating kami sa Saudi Arabia, matatapos yung mandate namin pagbalik namin sa Pilipinas, pag maibalik namin yung mga jamaa namin sa mga bayan nila dito sa Pilipinas. Yun ang mandate namin. Ina-assist namin sila sa pagta-travel, pagkukuha ng mga document. Kami po ang tumutulong sa kanila. Minsan kami din ang magtatrabaho, mag-workout doon sa mga document nila. Doon naman sa mga problema sa halimbawa doon sa hotel accommodation sa Madina at Makkah. Yung problema sa Mina, sa Arafah, walang problema sa Arafah. Sa Mina, yung masikip o overcrowded na tent sa Mina. Yung problema sa transportation sa buses, yung problema sa food, ang mga site po ay walang kinalaman dyan. Wala kaming authority na manghimasok dyan sa mga bagay na yan. O hindi na kami kasama para sa pag-transact dyan sa mga bagay na yan. Actually, itong mga salaysay namin, kasama dito yung basahin ko po. Ang issue ng pagiging stranded sa Musdalipa, yun ang malaking issue o problema na dumaan sa pilgrims natin ngayong this 2023 HAJJ operation. Ako bilang psych, more than 20 years na ako nagsa-psych. Ngayon lang ako nakaranas ng pangyari na ang last buses na transport from Musdalipa sa oras na pinakamainit, more than 46 o 47 Celsius ang init ng araw, ay allow na ng hapon. Sa previous years, ang nangyari dyan, late lang yung sunrise, mga 7 o'clock in the morning, lahat ng mga jamaa ay lahat na transport sa Mina, nakalis sa Musdalipa. Kasama ako nakalis ako doon mga almost 10 o'clock. Naramdaman ko yung super init ng araw sa oras na yun. Walang tubig na mainom, walang pagkain. Yung mga muntik na ibang mga jamaa, kung ano-ano kung saan-saan sila makahingi ng tulong para doon sa problema na yun. Ang problema dyan, yung hindi sapat na basis na magtutransport sa mga jamaa. Kasi mismo, isa sa mga yung executive assistant mismo ng ating secretary ay nagsalita na sa social media. Mismo siya ang nagsabi na tatlong bus lang ang nagtutransport sa mga haji from Musdalipa to Mina. So paano makayanan ng 3 buses ang 7,000 plus? O kaya kung sa maktab namin, office namin, maktab 74, more than 3,000. 3 bus ang magta-transport sa more than 3,000 from 12 o'clock in the midnight until 6 o'clock in the morning. So hindi na makakaya. Tapos medyo traffic pa. So yun ang problema doon na yung buses, limited number of buses. Yun ang hinahanapan ng solusyon. Paano ma-resolve ang problema na yan? Kaya nga nabanggit namin dito na yung mga issue o nabanggit ni Congressman Zia Alonto at Congressman Yasser Balindong ay totoo yun at sinusuporta namin yun. Pangatlo po na issue, yung pagsisiksikan ng mga pilgrims sa Mina tent dahil po hindi tumutugma ang lugar o kaya area na binayaran nila sa Mutawif. Halimbawa, doon sa Maktab 74 na doon kami nakapasok. Ang nandoon, ang nakalagay sa signboard ng president ng Maktab ay 2,800 pilgrims dapat ang makapasok doon sa Maktab 74. Pero ang mga haji na ipinasok doon sa Maktab 74 ay more than 3,000. So, mayroon mga haji na wala silang higaan, wala silang kama doon sa maktab na yun. So, buti nga sa pagtutulong-tulungan ng mga site, kasama ang NCMF, nagawa namin ng paraan kahit dikit-dikit yung mga kama, nakahiga na yung mga haji pilgrims na wala silang higaan dahil sa hindi sapat yung area na binigay sa amin. Hindi coincide. Ang pang-apat, ang hindi sapat na serbisyo ng pagkain sa hotel at mina. Tama po yun. Naranasan po namin yan. Yung pagkain na siniserve sa mga jamaa ay hindi tugma sa bineran ng mga haji. Ako sa 30 o 20 araw, hindi ko binilang, hindi naging 3 araw na pumunta ako doon sa kwan, sa pagkain dahil doon sa problema sa pagkain. So marami ang kwan, mga estudyante. Panglima po, yung mga privilege speech ng ating si Congressman Adiong at Congressman Yasser Balindong ay nasa likod po kami nila. Itong League of Mosaic Foundation. Dahil po sa pagsusumikap nila na mapabuti ang Hajj at maging hassle-free Hajj sa mga sumusunod na taon. So yan po ang maiparating namin dito sa committee na ito.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, if you have a copy of your speech, please submit it to the committee. Thank you. Anyway, COA, dito ba yung COA? Please identify yourself and your position in COA. Please turn on the microphone.
Good afternoon to all. I'm Raquel Policarpio, Supervising Auditor of COA and NCMF, Audit Group B, Cluster NGS. And at my left is Ms. Crisha Dihenyo, Audit Team Leader of COA and NCMF.
With regards to the issue that was raised by Congressman Khalid, what's your take on that particular issue dun sa Mutawi?
Please recognize the ATL of
Please
COA and
proceed.
NCMF. Sa Mutawi, please.
Good afternoon. I'm Prisha Dehenyo, Audit Team Leader of National Commission Muslim Filipinos. With regards to the Mutawi fees, the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos recorded the collection of that fee as trust liabilities. So, trust fund din po. So,
As what?
trust liabilities po.
Pakitanggal na lang ng ano mo.
Ay, trust liabilities,
Trust
sir.
liabilities. Okay.
Pero
So,
with regards to their compliance sa Joint Circulars, DOF, Civil COA and DBM, they are not compliant. Dapat mag-create sila ng separate trust fund.
so
Nag-submit naman na po kami, sir, ng aming mga ng position namin sa House Committee on Muslim Affairs po.
but I have with me your comment with regards to the subject matter for today's hearing. Wala eh. Pero if you have submitted to the Committee on Muslim Affairs with regards to the COA findings on the Hajj, dapat mag-submit kayo dito. Do we have an audit report?
We have the audit report, sir. It was our findings regarding the sa general fund and the trust fund incorporated po sa consolidated annual audit report in National Commission on Muslim Filipinos for the year 2022.
2022.
Yes po, sir. Yes po, Chairman.
Okay. That includes the Mutawi Fund.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please submit to this committee. Not only 2022. Balikan natin from nagka-COVID, di ba? So 2021 wala, 2020 wala, 19. Mayroon.
Yes po.
So please submit to this committee before the next hearing. Our next hearing will be on November 13.
Okay.
Please submit to this committee the COA audit report with regards to the NCMF operations, financial statements before the November 13 hearing. Year 2019 and 2022.
Excuse me, sir, Your Honor. regarding that matter, our legal office has already answered that issues, that audit report for previous years, especially the one requested from 2016 to 2022, were already posted at the website. of
No.
COA.
No,
Yes.
please comply or else I will talk to the chairman that you're not complying. We will not get an official document from your website. We need an authenticated COA report. And you must comply.
Okay, Chairman, Your Honor, we will tell our chairman. You inform that you are requesting it authenticated.
Yeah, you
Is there
submit before
answer?
August
Is there
13, November
response?
13.
Okay,
Don't use the website because that is not an official document for this committee to investigate.
okay. Sir, we will inform our authorities from at the COA Central Office.
Before November 13.
November 13. Okay, sir, we will inform first. I'm not promising, but we will inform, and then the reply, we will inform your
You want
committee.
you want me to talk to the chairman?
No, to the legal office and our cluster director.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, please proceed kong Akop.
may I ask COA, are these published sa website po ninyo?
Yes po.
And these are public documents
Yes po.
and they are readily available.
Yes po.
Bakit po nyo hindi may submit?
Because our legal office told us.
Under what law?
Okay, sir, we will submit.
Ay, para kang namimiluso po pa
No,
rito eh.
sir. I'm not, sir. Your Honor, we will.
Baka gusto mo i-cite din kita ng in contempt eh.
No, sir. We will submit.
Oh, yun pala, yun ang gusto namin sagot.
Okay po, sir.
Huwag kang mamiloso po rito.
No, hindi po ako namimilos po.
Kasi
we will submit.
We are spending time, government time, to work here.
Okay po, we will submit.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. So, we're directing COA, COMSEC, we're directing COA to submit the audited report from 2016 to 2022, not later than November 13. Do we have a representative from the service provider present today? Local. Please, do you have something to say? Please identify yourself. You have not
Mr.
taken your
Chair.
oath. Yes, Chairman.
I noticed a while ago that they did not take their oath. And therefore, I presume that they should not be asked questions or that they will not make statements here. Now, if they want to make statements here,
Yes.
they should take the oath. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop.
Yeah, I will take out.
Oh, sige.
Tell the truth.
Please,
Inshallah.
Comsec, please administer the oath.
Yes.
Thank you, Comsec. Please proceed. Please identify yourself, your position, and then please proceed.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I am Jamaluddin Orugan Sulaiman, legally representing the Mohra Bagka during what you call bidding on last year. It was February, if I'm not mistaken, right? And I represent Mohra Bagka, and I will tell the truth what is happening. Okay. During that day, in fact, let's go focus on the procurement committee, what NCMF said always. So this procurement committee, I'll tell this floor that I am the one to spend the local ticket of the sheikh who's going to Saudi Arabia. Ako po yung gumastos sa kanila, yung procurement committee na dinala doon. Oo. I have proved that. And doon po sa nangyaring pagpunta nila, Mr. Secretary Giling Mamundo nandito, tsaka si Dr. Hanan Tago, ako po yung nagtikit sa team na yan. Ako yung gumastos doon sa team na nagpunta doon. Tsaka yung mga ibang family, I mean member of this commission na as of now hindi po ako nababayaran. Yes. So, inabot ng 2 million something. Nandun po sa finance. At saka yung visa, ticket, nandun po lahat. Then doon po sa nangyaring pag-ocular sa hotel ko, ako lang yung nag-present doon sa service provider na nag-attend na 3 kategorya. Therefore, magkaroon ng choices yung mga pilgrimage. First category, yung 0 meter sa haram. Doon mismo sa haram, yung 5-star hotel na yan, hindi po nagkaroon ng chance na mabigyan yung gustong tumuli doon. Second category, yung middle, doon sa likod ng mga 5-star hotel, the same din, hindi rin nagkaroon. In fact, yung layo ng hotel ko, pinakita ko doon is 400 meter. Ang nilagay dito sa procurement committee, 1.5 kilometer. Para po ma-justify na hindi ako pwede sa mga hotel na pinipili nila. Thirdly, nag-create tayo ng third category para doon sa mga mahirap, which is pwede doon yung 200 plus 1,000 yung budget. Instead na 2 kilometer, ang nilagay 13 kilometer. Pinalagpasan pa yung Musdalifa, yung Arafah. So hindi na po maganda yung pangyayari dito, no? Para itolerate natin yung practice na hanggang ngayon paulit-ulit po yung problema. So doon ko po wawakasan yung sasabihin ko, at saka meron pa tayong mga nangyari na pwede itanong niyo sa akin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir. Anyway, are you the one who submitted a affidavit to my
Yes, sir.
office?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So what is that? Lahat po yan yung nangyari talaga.
Okay, thank you. I will just inform everyone, members of this committee, that the resource person has submitted his affidavit to the committee. Do you have a copy, Comsec?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Please,
It's addressed to
this was addressed to Congressman Adiong, not to the committee. So will you submit an official affidavit document?
I think I have already received yesterday by Sir Paduano, Congressman Paduano.
Oh.
But I sent through LBC.
Anyway, we will just check.
Yeah, I just
sa
received
LBC.
the notification yesterday that officially received
Okay,
someone.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, regarding that, I can, with all due respect, I can just simply submit that affidavit. If that is indeed addressed to my office, then I can furnish a copy to the committee for the perusal officially, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
I can turn over that affidavit.
Thank you, Congressman Adiong. So anybody else? So we will start on the interpellation of members. Who wants to interpellate? Congressman Balindong, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Para po sa kaalaman ng mga membro ng malaman din ng membro ng mga itong committee ito, gusto kong tanungin po ang secretary. Itong HAJJ conference, ano ba yung HAJJ conference?
This is a HAJJ conference of representatives from Muslim countries and other countries where there are considerable of Muslims going on pilgrimage to discuss the issues and concerns affecting the operation of HAJJ. It is there where they also give us their allocation.
Allocation on what?
Allocation on the number of pilgrims. In our case, we were allocated 9,000 for the year 2023.
Sino pong authorized? Who are authorized to attend in the HAJJ conference?
I am the one authorized to HAJJ conference, but we are given 5 members of the delegation. Alin po?
Who are the members po?
Well, the members of this delegation may I refer this question to Director Abu, if he can give us the names of those who came in that conference 2023. The Executive Director Lidasan, are you aware of this? The members of the delegation whom we sent to the Arts Conference last year, this year. One of them is our HAJJ attaché, Omar Mandia. He was there.
Could you submit the names?
We will submit the names. We will submit the names.
I think you can mention it because it's only 5 members, and I cannot believe that you cannot remember the names.
As I said, the one handling of actually the operation of the HAJJ is the OIC Director of the Pilgrimage and Endowment. It is Executive Director Lidasan.
Secretary Adiong, Secretary Mamunjong, on that conference, you lead that conference.
Yes.
So you cannot remember the 4 members.
Dr. Abdul Hanan Tago is one of them.
Ano yung position ni Tago sa NCMF?
He's my executive assistant.
EA.
Yes.
Then who?
Sinudin, yes. Sinudin
Who is the Sinudin?
Sinudin Usudan. He's the chief of the division on pilgrimage and endowment.
Then, dalawa pa.
No, ako po yung
Pangatlo ka.
Yes.
You mentioned 2 names, then you 3. So another 2.
Okay, so may
May memory lapse
may-
ata to
may-
si
may
Secretary.
request, no?
4 na tao lang, hindi mo matandaan. That happens 2023. This year lang. Ganito lang, yung mga commissioner ng NCMF, alam niyo ba kung sino kasama niya? Please do not talk unless you're recognized, Secretary.
Okay.
Can I ask Commissioner present? Kasi para may memory lapse si Secretary Mamunjong. Who can answer from the commissioners?
Can I,
Yes,
Your Honor?
please identify yourself and your position.
I'm Commissioner Yusuf Mando po. Ang mga miyembro ng delegation ng sa HAJJ conference ay first, yung head of the delegation is Attorney Giring A. Mamunjong, our secretary, and then followed by that Omar Mandia, the OIC HAJJ attaché, and then Chief Sainuddin M. Usudan, Pilgrimage Division of Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment. Number 4 is Abdul Hanan M. Tago, OSEC, Executive Assistant 4 of the Office of the Secretary. 4 lang po.
4? Ako 5.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I believe that kasi pag mag-travel ka dyan, may travel authority yan. May travel authority sila. May I request that they submit the travel authority para makita natin kung kuwan yan.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Chairman ako.
this in relation to the issue raised by the Honorable Balindong. Hindi po ba meron kayong operations manual insofar as HAJJ operations are concerned? Meron kayong manual, di po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
At nakalagay doon kung sino-sino dapat yung composition o pupunta doon sa HAJJ conference. Naka-enumerate doon kung sino dapat ang pupunta. Tama po?
That is the discretion po of the
No, I don't think so because it is part of your manual. And your manual enumerates the people who are supposed to attend the HAJJ conference. Nandito po sa manual po ninyo.
may I request Executive Director and BPE Director Tahili Dasan to answer the question? John, can you?
May I be allowed to answer the question, sir?
Please proceed.
Yes, my name is Executive Director Tahir Lidasan. I am the concurrent OIC of the BPE. On the question of the HAJJ operations manual, the manual has been submitted to the UP Law Center National Registry sometime in the last week of January. So it took effect. The manual took effect sometime first week of February upon the submission to the UP Law Center. But the flight of the HAJJ conference participants took place sometime in November or December. So at that point, at that time, Secretary Mamundyong has absolute discretion on the membership of the HAJJ conference in Saudi Arabia.
So you are trying to tell us that before the approval of your HAJJ operations manual, the secretary of the NCMF has the sole discretion kung sino po ang mga pupunta dun sa HAJJ conference.
Tama po, sir. Tama po.
At least that is clear. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Please proceed, Congressman Adiong.
Follow-up question regarding that response. You said that prior to the adoption or approval of the HAJJ manual, the secretary has the sole discretion and to select individuals who will compose the delegation. Is it correct?
Correct, sir. Tama po.
Okay. Sinong nag-approve ng HAJJ manual?
The operations manual has been approved by the commissioners through en-banc resolution.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So itong pagpunta nyo ng HAJJ, in 2022 wala kayong HAJJ manual?
In 2022 HAJJ operations, there is no HAJJ operations manual that is prevailing in the operations.
In 2023?
In the HAJJ 2023, sir, we started to adopt the manual provisions sometime in February.
February?
Yes, sir.
So you sent your delegation when?
The conference participants, I think to be exact, sir, the specific date, January 6 to 17.
Do you think the HAJJ manual is so important or less important?
We think the HAJJ manual is very important.
So what took so long for the commission to adopt the HAJJ manual? Because this is precisely how you would guide
Correct.
you
Correct.
in entering into local providers. Bakit tumagal?
Actually,
Kung
sir,
importante ito.
sorry.
Yes, bakit tumagal?
Actually, sir, the HAJJ operations manual has been with the even with the Office on Muslim Affairs. Matagal na po siya nasa agency. But every year, for whatever reasons, wala
What
pong
are the
na-approve.
reasons? Can you tell us?
Ano sir, nagpa-fell short po dun sa action from the management. And then, only during the time of the Secretary Mamundyong, during po sa time po ni Secretary, na ang instruction niya is that by all means, there should be an operations manual that will take effect, that will guide the 2023 operations. That's one. Second, ito rin po sir, yung opportunity namin na all the commissioners supported the drafting. In fact, as early as last quarter of 2022, nagkaroon na po ng mga preliminary discussions. We got the provisions from the BPE officials. Nagkaroon lang po siya talaga nag-materialize na po talaga siya when the secretary instructed me to go to UP Law Center and make the HAJJ operations manual a public document through the National Registry para po any administration that will govern the NCMF will now be guided by a public document which is easily accessible to the public.
So sino talaga ang when do you start? What is your baseline? When do you actually say that the HAJJ manual is operational? Upon the approval and adoption of the commission or upon your submission to UP?
Sir,
Kung
halos
na-adopt nyo na,
Yes, sir.
bakit kailangan pang bago
Halos
kayo i-implement?
Yes. Halos magkasabay sir yung approval po. January po, nagde-deliberate na kami. I can get the exact date that it was approved by the Commission and Bank. But for us, kasama po sa instruction ni Secretary na to register the manual to the UPLO Center. Ano ba yung date na?
Mr. Chair. May I,
Please
with the
proceed.
indulgence of the Honorable Adiong. Tinanong ko po kayo kanina, kailan naging effective yung inyong operations manual? 2022, 2021, or what?
The manual has been approved 2023.
What
What date, sir?
approved by the commission
Yes, sir.
only in 2023?
The Commission and Bank has approved the HAJJ operations manual sometime in February. Ito sir, resolution number 4, series of 2023, and bank resolution on the approval of the HAJJ manual. And then it was dated, approved and signed by the undersigned commissioners this February 1 of 2023 in Quezon City. We will furnish the copy to the Secretariat, sir, of the original copy of the resolution.
And the Hajj conference for the year 2023 happened before February 1?
Yes, sir. It happened before the approval of the Commission, sir, and Bank.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Congressman Adiong, please proceed.
Sige.
Kanina po sinabi ko, tinanong ko po ang NCMF gaano ka-importante ang HAJJ manual sa kanila. Sabi po nila, importante. So I presume that you already have the draft of the HAJJ manual, no? Prior to the adoption, you already have a draft. Because there's nothing to adopt if you don't have a draft. Is it correct? Okay. So kung gaano ka-importante, hindi niyo ba naisip, halimbawa lang just, a layman's conversation, didn't it enter in your minds, halimbawa na sa previous years, according to the Secretary, itong problema hindi lang nangyari sa 2022, it happened in the previous years. Hindi niyo ba naisip na okay, even if we don't adopt this or we don't submit this, maybe this can guide us in the 2023 operation. Kung gaano ka-importante sa inyo ang HAJJ, ha? Hindi ho ba does that enter your mind at some point?
Mr. Chairman, may I answer the
Yes,
question?
please.
Yes.
Kasi ang pinag-usapan natin nito, Mr. Chair, una, is gaano ka-importante ang handling ng HAJJ. I'm sure importante para sa NCMF. Alam ko since gusto talaga nila mapagbuti ang services ng NCMF. But the problem is, over the years, may mga shortcomings. And precisely because they need a HAJJ manual. So may draft na sila. Hindi ba yung naisip na, okay, prior to the approval po, pwede naman natin gamitin ito as a guide, no? Yun lang po yun ang gusto ko itanong.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, may
Please proceed.
Yes,
Chairman Adiong.
when I assumed last March 2022, I was looking for the HAJJ operation manual. What they presented to me was just a draft. And I told them we have to finalize it because this is very, very important to the HAJJ operation. It was only then that they started finalizing the draft that they had. But I said we cannot operate the 2023 HAJJ unless we have this operation manual. This will guide us. This will guide us. We have been seeing to it that the HAJJ operation manual complies with the existing laws as well as those in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Mr. Chair, may I follow-up question? What
Yes,
is...
thank you, Secretary Mamadio. Please proceed.
Yes, may I ask, what is, can you tell us what is Quality Management System Manual? QMS? Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask NCMF, kasi even in the absence of HAJJ manual, you're also guided by the Quality Management System Manual. Yes, is it correct? Hindi ba naka-indicate doon kung sino dapat ang magiging member ng delegation?
No, sir. The quality systems manual. We have been certified by the ISO Bureau Veritas.
Can you furnish us a copy of the quality management system manual? Because this will guide the committee in appreciating kung sino ba talaga yung dapat na pumunta, paano sila mag-ano, kasi wala daw silang HAJJ manual eh. Pero prior to the adoption of HAJJ manual, you already have a system, di ba? A guideline. Can you submit to this committee? Ha? Sige, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you po.
Duly noted. Please submit to the committee before the next hearing.
Mr. Chair,
Please proceed.
including the travel authority.
And that includes the travel authority that was issued during the HAJJ conference to those 2023 HAJJ conference to those delegates. Now, but until now, hindi ko pa rin maisip-isip na ang numero is 5. Hanggang ngayon, 4 lang. Sino yung pang-5? Di ba 5 yon? Ano ba? 5 ba talaga o 4 lang?
Your Honor, let me answer you.
Please proceed.
We were given 5 to compose delegation, but we only sent 4.
So, 4 lang talaga.
4 lang talaga.
Some commissioners, do you confirm this? Na 4 lang?
Based po doon sa record binasa ko kanina ay 4 lang po.
4 lang, that's official. Okay. Now, of course, sabi nyo nga, discretionary power ng secretary to select. So, the commissioners were not involved in the selection before this manual.
Hindi po kasama ang mga commissioner sa selection. Discretion po siya ng secretary prior to the approval of our HAJJ manual po.
So, this was been the practice ever since.
That is the practice ever since. And besides, before the assumption of Secretary Mamunjong, ay hindi po kasama ang mga commissioner sa HAJJ operation.
Hanggang ngayon.
Ngayon kasama na po. Kasama as historial function lang po sa pag dito nagsimula na magkaroon kami ng HAJJ operations manual.
So, you were not involved directly in operation, especially doon sa question of collection of motorway, how to
Hindi
use
po,
the
hindi po.
fund, blah, 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 etc., etc. And
Hindi po.
who decides? Who decides on the implementation of all those activities? And that includes the budget.
The Secretary of the Commission.
Only the Secretary of the Commission?
Yung Mutawi po kasi doon yon sa under po yan sa BPE or Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment. Doon po yon ang operation po nakafocus sa BPE.
So, itong 2023, sino yung nagde-decide? Secretary lang?
Secretary at BPE.
Sinong sa BPE dito? Ay, ikaw. Anyway, so kayong dalawa lang nag-decide
Sir, can I say something?
without the consent of the other commissioners? Eh, ano mangyayari sa kanila?
Can
Please proceed.
Yes, sir. One of the innovations implemented by the current secretary is the arrangement wherein he tried to onboard the commissioners. That's one. Second, he actually assigned a commissioner representing the religious sector, Commissioner Jamal Munib, as the commissioner in charge of the HAJJ operations of the commission. And that was the first act actually being done in the commission history. And it's proper because the commissioner representing the religious sector should govern the HAJJ operations. Second. Third, the role of the BPE in the computation of the Mutawi fee is basically dependent on the following, which number one, the combined guarantee insurance, the HAJJ mandatory fees, the transportation fees, visa issuance, electronic service fee, ground service fee, and camp fees. These fees, sir, is actually dictated to us by the Saudi government. So for every HAJJ operations, Naka-indicate na po doon yung mga costs that the Saudi government will charge to all the countries who will participate in the Hajj. And this can be gleaned in the portal of the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. So yun po yung nakalagay doon sa
Hindi
magkano
kasi, hindi kasi ang issue doon, hindi kasi yung question of the budget outside being dictated, of course, by the Saudi government. Ang issue dito is yung involvement, how the commissioners being involved on the decision with regards to Hajj. Eh, yung sinasabi mo na na-involved sila, dahil dito siguro sa manual nyo, nasa manual nyo ngayon. Pero previously, well, in fact, this 2023, na si Secretary Mamunjong na yung head, ay hindi nyo pa rin sila na-involved. Tama? Please, Commissioner.
Hi, good afternoon, sir. Sirs. Assalamualaikum po sa lahat. In 2018 po, I was appointed as commissioner po. Over the past few years, since time immemorial po, may problema na po talaga yung Hajj na yan po. Yung Hajj manual po, offshoot po yan siya nung mga nakaraang Hajj na grabe yung mga problema. Kagaya po ng last year, 2022, nagkaroon po tayo ng malaking problema dahil dun sa stranded na mga pilgrims. Kaya po, doon po sa part namin ng mga commissioners at saka kay secretary, napag-usapan po namin na magkaroon po kami ng Hajj manual. Kaya po ngayong 2023, na-involve po kaming mga commissioners nang dahil po doon sa mga nakaraang history ng problema. Kaya po na-create yung Hajj manual po. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.
Na-involve kayo sa formulation ng Hajj manual, but during the implementation, before that Hajj manual, etong Hajj na to, na-involve ba kayo dun sa implementation?
During the past few years po, sir.
Hindi,
wala.
ito lang.
Ngayon po, yes po. Ay,
Sa
no, 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 no.
2023?
2023 po, hindi po kami na...
Eh, di kayo na-involved, di ba? Oh. So you will be only involved because of this manual by 2024. Tama?
Yes.
Hopefully.
Mr. Chair,
Please, proceed.
Mr. Chairman, may I add to that, to the answer of Commissioner Ligasan.
Please proceed,
They
Secretary.
were involved in the implementation of the Hajj operation manual because I asked them to be part of the oversight committee that we have created for this. I asked them to make sure that we act in accordance with the operation manual. That is the involvement of the commissioners.
Secretary, I will not argue on that because that is the truth. They are telling us that they were involved in that formulation of the manual. What I'm asking them is if they're involved in the 2023 implementation of the Hajj. Sabi nila wala. They are not involved.
I will submit to the honorable committee the office of this that I have signed for their involvement. I talked to them, I informed them about their involvement. In fact, from the very start, right here in the Philippines, in the respective region, I constituted them as oversight committee to make sure that we act in accordance with the operation manual. Although at the time there was no operation manual, but we were guided by the program of activities prepared by the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment. That was the guidance. That was the guidance I have given to them. And then from there, after we have, all the pilgrims have left, I asked them also to follow us in Saudi Arabia and exercise the same functions.
Thank you, Secretary. General Khalid, you have something to say?
Thank you, Chair. We might be suspending the discussion on this issue soon because we have our session. We do have invited guest from the DFA, and earlier, Chair, I heard the NCMF speak, members of the SHAIC speak. I would like to request, so their time is not wasted since they went here to Congress, that we hear from the DFA, since they are the ones in charge of overseeing the well-being of Filipino citizens abroad, on what their assessment is on this 2023 Hajj. And not only the 2023 Hajj, also the previous Hajj pilgrimages since the creation of the NCMF.
Thank you, Chairman Khalid. DFA representative, are you present? Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, honorable members of Congress, Honorable Secretary Mamondiong. This is Mr. Mardomel Celo Melicor. I'm the Assistant Secretary for Middle East and African Affairs. And we supervise our posts in Jeddah and in Riyadh. Looking at the letter of invitation, we note that we are not really privy to the accounts of the NCMF. So we cannot say anything material to the operations of the accounts, how they were spent, where they were spent on. But we just want to make three very short points, sir, if you would allow us. First, that we are not privy to these accounts, so we cannot say anything about them. Secondly, we can confirm, however, that there are so many complaints, and they are perennial complaints, essentially saying that the pilgrims feel that they were shortchanged, that the money they spent did not correspond to the services that they received. So in general, that's the main complaint. Secondly, we also confirmed that our consulate in Jeddah and even our embassy in Riyadh have to exert extra effort going to the airport to meet, to be ready for things like that. The latest one was in Musdalifah, when even I myself received a text from the Office of Civilian Security saying our people there are dying of thirst, and so we had to call the Consul General in Jeddah and say what's going on. And he said they are left in the heat. They were not able to leave before the sun rose. So I said, are you acting there? Yeah, we and the embassy in Riyadh, we are doing something to help them. And because of these actions, resources of the Consulate General and the embassy are used up for Hajj operations, when normally they should not be used up, because the consulate and the embassy have their work to do of their own. And thirdly, the third point we want to make is, there were. Okay, I'm here. I'm receiving a note from Assistant Secretary Ferrer, who is handling the Assistance to Nationals Office, the Office of the Migrant Workers Affairs. But when that happens, we have to source funds from the Office of Migrant Workers Affairs and treat these Hajj cases as assistance to as ATN cases. Just to let you know that the Consulate General and the embassy have to spend extra for the Hajj, when that should not have been done. If we have been doing this pilgrimage since time immemorial, we should have already foreseen what are the things that could arise, if there is a need for more buses here or there, or food or tents. That should have been already planned before. That's why we just make two very short suggestions, sir. First suggestion is, because this meeting is about public accounts, and we have specialized government agencies who are familiar with this government accounting and government auditing procedures, that a committee be done perhaps by this committee or by the executive secretary, to let a professional group look at the operations, let's say for the 2023 Hajj, as a sample, list down all the sources of funds that came from personal contributions of the pilgrims, from the Philippine government, from donations, because we are told that there are also donations. So we have to list all these funding sources and put them opposite all the services that were received. This way, we can see where did all the funding go. So, because this is a specialized thing, auditor should be the one doing this, Your Honor. I think this will give us idea where did all the funding come from and where did all of it go. Secondly, sir, we have also experts in the private sector. For instance, they talk about time and motion studies. You know, what are the actual activities of the Hajj from the time they arrive until they move, and you know, and they should give enough personnel, enough resources, money, food, water, whatever it is that's needed, so that our pilgrims will enjoy their pilgrimage. So I think they could, or this committee could also constitute such an expert body to look into exactly, and perhaps start with the manual, because the consulate and the embassy, we are not privy to what the National Council is, NCMF is doing. If there is anything we know, it's because they give us a copy of the contract, but that's all. We don't know who were contacted. You know, when you go to a hotel, sir, you can go to a 3-star hotel, 2-star, 1-star hotel, and so forth. So for the same service, there are different prices. So that's why perhaps in order to enlighten this body and then to really agree and move forward, perhaps our experts would have to look clearly into what happened in 2023. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Asek Whitaker. Anyway,
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, may I say something on that?
you want to interject?
Yes. No, I just want to clarify the role of the DFA in this pilgrimage. Because as early as, Mr. Chairman, as early as last year, I investigated already how this operation is going. I went to the consulate in Jeddah, asking them the role of the DFA in this. And they could not tell me. So I suggested to them, we form a joint monitoring committee because we need them. So we formed a monitoring committee. That's why they were involved in the 2023 Hajj. They were there. They assisted us, in fact.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Chairman Akop.
with your
Please proceed.
indulgence, Mr. Secretary, there were charges made. Ang ginagawa nyo na lang is parang dumidepensa kayo eh. So as far as this investigator is concerned, parang dumidepensa kayo, all the charges. But if I look at it, isa lang po ang kumakampi sa inyo eh, yung inyong head OIC ng BPE. No, yung local provider, the sheikhs, DFA, COA, the commissioners, lahat po inaamin na mayroong diferensya eh. Pero kayo, sinabi nyo, walang diferensya. Are you oblivious to the complaints of your constituents? Mr. Secretary, are you?
Your Honor, we are not.
Oh,
That's why from the time I assumed office, I started making the necessary reforms in the health
Are
separation.
you refuting the statement of the representative of the Department of Foreign Affairs?
No, Your Honor. I was
Okay.
just informing the body that because at the time, in the previous years, there was no involvement with DFA. Then when I came, I should wait that the DFA is involved in the monitoring of the Hajj.
We'll go to that, Mr. Secretary. Patapusin lang muna natin yung point na gustong ilabas ni Honorable Khalid simply because he was the one who requested DFA to come up with its statement. Bago po kayo dumipensa.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The DFA actually elaborated the problem of the NCMF, and I hope this committee can determine at the end of its investigation if the problem is institutional or if the problem is because of management or leadership, or maybe both. But based on the statement of the DFA, and I will not blame Secretary Mamondyong for this, because we know as Muslim Filipinos, every time na may bagong NCMF secretary, may bagong style on how to conduct the Hajj. So The problem is, even if you pass the, let's say, the manual of operation in the Hajj, may bagong secretary. What's going to compel the new secretary to follow the manual of operation in the Hajj? It's not a law. And the problem of the DFA, which it seems to me that their statement is they're out of the loop, is exactly that. Does the NCMF secretary have the power over the DFA to say, you coordinate with us? Ang nangyayari na yon is it's as if you really look at it, in every Hajj pilgrimage program, NCMF is DFA, NCMF is DOH, NCMF is DOTR. They are like a mini government catering to the needs of Muslim Filipinos, and they do not have the capacity to do so. In my personal opinion, that's the problem. We need an interagency approach so that we can solve the problem of the Hajj, and that cannot be resolved in the level of the secretary. That's just my personal comment, Mr. Chair. Secondly, Mr. Chair, I can't remember if Representative Zia Adiong requested for a draft of the manual operations. I would like to request the actual approved manual operations of the Hajj, because I haven't seen it myself as chairman of Muslim Affairs, to be submitted to committee secretariat. Third, Mr. Chair, I would like to request that the NCMF submit to the committee secretariat the amount of pilgrimage fees that they have collected on an annual basis, and also their budgetary amount as approved by Congress. And I think you will see how large the amount of the Hajj fund is versus their annual budget. Okay. And then third, Mr. Chair, I would like to request the NCMF to submit to the committee the price of the Mutoy fee, because that's another complaint. Now, it keeps increasing. We want to establish also, if they increase prices, we have inflation, so it's normal for price to increase. If the increase is significant and can be explained or not. And you can also see baka there are differences of increases between secretaries. These are data that I hope the committee can get a hold of in our next, so we can further discuss it in our next committee hearing.
Thank you, Chairman Khalid.
Bank statement.
NCMF is directed to submit all the documents being requested by Chairman Khalid, the manual, Hajj manual, the financial statements, the budget from the GAAN, the budget which is from Motawif, the trust fund, and of course, what else? Tatlo yun, di ba? No, bank statement, yun yung second. Yeah, Motawif fee from, siguro yung Motawif fee from 2016. Tingnan natin yung pag-akyat, no? Based on the inflationary factor. So please submit before November 13 all those documents being requested by Congressman Khalid to this committee. Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman.
going back to
Balindong.
my question. Kasi iniram ko lang sa inyo yung oras eh. Oras ko yun eh.
Agree.
Ano pa po ang dinidiscuss sa Hajj conference? Yung quota lang na 9,000 or may ano pang dinidiscuss doon?
Doon po sa Hajj conference, inimbita nila yung mga service providers doon eh. From these people, you can choose after conducting the call for bidding. Yun po ang nandoon.
Ang dinidiscuss doon yung hotel. Bidding, doon ang bidding.
Hindi po yun. Ang sinasabi nila, ito yung mga exhibitors eh. Ito yung mga service providers. Yun ang sinasabi nila doon.
Yes,
But mostly in that Hajj conference, you are told of the number of your allocation. Yun pa pinaka-important doon.
So is there a document being signed between the NCMF and the Saudi government during the Hajj conference?
Usually mayroon po yung mother contract po.
Ayan.
With the Ministry of Hajj.
Mother contract.
Mother contract. We can give you a copy of this.
Do you have a copy of
We will
the
give you
2022 2023 mother contract?
Yes, we will provide copies of these contracts.
Mr.
Please.
Chair?
Yes, Chairman Akop. Before that, Chairman, please submit the contract being made by, mother contract being made by NCMF and the Saudi government, 2022,
Mr.
2023.
Chair, in English translation, kasi Arabic yan.
In English daw, English.
Sinabi mo, you usually sign or the mother contract during this conference, no? Where do you sign the mother contract?
Because the guidelines of the Saudi Ministry of Hajj.
In the Ministry of Hajj.
Yes, are there, yes.
So that's where you sign the contract?
Yeah, because we have to comply with the policies
Yeah,
of the
okay,
Ministry of
thank you.
Hajj.
Mr.
Please,
Chair?
before Chairman Akop will proceed, dun sa mga resource persons sa guest, please don't post the video that was taken a while ago. It's not allowed. It is committee official kasi kami dito na video. Or else, baka magka-problema, we will cite you in contempt. Okay? Thank you. Please proceed, Chairman Akop.
Thank you. I-clarify ko lang yung mga points natin, Eka, para the same page tayo pagbalik sa November 13. May I ask COA, ang decision po ninyo, yung ibinabayad ng mga pilgrims ay considered as public fund pursuant to an executive order. Tama?
Yes po.
Yeah, that's very clear. So therefore, this committee has jurisdiction over such funds. Kasi Committee on Public Accounts too eh. Yeah, that's very clear. Now we go to the OIC of BPE. You said a while ago, sa kasagutan mo sa tanong ni Honorable Alonto, na wala sa QMS yung composition ng delegation para sa HAJJ conference. Tama? Wala sa QMS.
Tama po, sir.
Could you please provide us a copy of your QMS? And I think this was approved before your operations manual.
Correct, sir. Correct.
And I have a feeling, Mr. OIC, na yung nandun sa operations manual ay kasama o binase ninyo sa QMS.
Yes.
Kasi ganyan ang style ng gobyerno. I've been in government for less than 50 years. So gusto kong makita kung totoo po yung sagot ninyo na wala doon yung composition ng delegation to the HAJJ conference.
Yes, sir. I may be...
Because
Yes, sir.
if you are caught lying, you know what's coming. Okay? That's very clear. Nililay down ko yung cards ko lang, Iho, to be fair with you. Now, may I ask Secretary Mamunjong, yun po bang Philippine delegation to HAJJ would be the same as your procurement committee?
Hindi po.
Does your manual say that?
Yes, except that the head of the Pilgrimage and Endowment Division is always involved because she is the one.
BPE? With your indulgence, Mr. Secretary, BPE, do you agree with your secretary? Pursuant to your manual, which was approved in February 1 of this year, na yung composition ng Philippine delegation to the HAJJ conference would be the same as your HAJJ procurement committee? Kasi nandito na, sa tingin ko yung problema eh. What
Sir,
do you say, Mr. OIC?
yes, sir. The participants to the HAJJ conference may be different from the procurement committee members before the enactment of the operations manual. That's the one.
Lumulusot ka na naman eh. Ikaw naman, Iho. Ang tagal ko na sa serbisyo na nag-iimbestiga. Lumulusot ka eh. Pero please tell me, pursuant to your operations manual or your QMS, they are basically the same. Tama? Yes or no?
Sir, can I rephrase your question? Is the
No,
quality
you do not have the authority to rephrase my question because I'm the one asking the question.
I have in my cell phone the quality management system manual of the NCMF, and there are actually 4.2.6. It talks about the pilgrimage and endowment management. 4.2.6.1, the pilgrimage operations. Now in 4.2.6.1, nakalagay lang po dito that the pilgrimage operations is handled by the Chief of the Pilgrimage Operations Division under the direct supervision of the Director of the BPE. The NCMF Secretary also plays a vital role in this activity as the head of the team that attends the annual Hajj conference with the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah in Saudi Arabia. Attends meeting involving heads of Hajj partner agencies, both government and private, and other meetings where the presence is deemed necessary. Another paragraph, the pilgrimage operation follows a prepared calendar of activities and follows a step-by-step procedure and guidelines in all its undertakings. The regional directors and heads of provincial sub-offices are tasked to create a team to handle the Hajj registration and processing centers. 4.2.6.1.1 only talks about the Hajj financial management. 4.2.6.2 talks about the endowment administration. And then that's all that is indicated in the quality management system manual.
So there's no statement kung yung Hajj delegation will be the same as your procurement committee
It is not indicated in
in
the
your QMS,
in
and
the
therefore
QMS.
it does not answer my question. Di ba? Do you agree?
OIC, wag kang tatawa-tawa.
Ikaw naman. Parang
Seryosong investigation na to.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
di ba? Walang sinasabi dyan.
Wala po,
But
sir.
in your approved operating manual, what does it say?
In the Hajj operations manual, it defines the membership of the procurement committee.
It defines.
Yes, sir. Composed of the following. Number one, the division chief of the pilgrimage operations division, and then to be assisted by 2 division chief members, career officers, and then that's the bare minimum provided in the manual. And then the secretary added another provision. He added 2 more lawyers to join the operations, procurement operations in Saudi Arabia. Yun po nakalagay sa manual. Sir.
Yeah, but who heads that procurement committee, the Hajj procurement committee that will go to Saudi Arabia?
It will be headed by the division chief of the pilgrimage operations division under the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment.
So, nasa iyong jurisdiction yun?
So yung pong Hajj 2020.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Ikaw ang OIC ngayon ng BPE. Tapos sinabi mo lang sa akin na under ng BPE. Di under your jurisdiction. Ikaw naman, diretso lang yung tanong ko sa'yo. Diretso lang yung sagot na gusto ko. Di ba? Kasi doon ko makikita kung may tinatago ka, kung iwas ka ng iwas eh. Di ba? Kaya, and if I look at the law, nasa iyo lahat ang responsibilidad eh, yung opisina mo. Under Republic Act 9997, if I asked you questions like, would you agree na ang responsibility mo is formulation and implementation of programs, projects, and activities for the efficient and effective administration and supervision of the conduct of pilgrimage activities? Meron ka na ba nito? Pag sinabi mong yes, I will ask you to provide this committee copies of this. Do you have this in your office?
Sir, can I You're asking for a document, sir? Okay.
Yes, one of your job under the law, Republic Act 9997, the National Commission of Muslim Filipinos Act of 2009, your primary function is the formulation and implementation of programs, projects, and activities for the efficient and effective administration and supervision of the conduct of pilgrimage activities. Tama?
Yes, sir. In fact, sir, the HAJJ operations manual.
Hindi, teka. Ang tanong ko lang, do you agree na ito yung trabaho mo?
Yes, sir. I agree, sir.
And under this, nandun yung formulation of necessary guidelines to ensure the timely processing of the pilgrims' travel documents and the equitable and reasonable collection of fees. Such collection shall be limited to mutawif and passporting and/or processing fees only. Collected fees shall be deposited in a special trust fund which shall be established by the Commission. Were all this satisfied?
Yes, sir. We complied with the provision, sir, in that.
Kung nag-comply po kayo sa provision na ito, Mr. OIC, wala na po sigurong reklamo yung na natanggap yung DFA, wala pong reklamo na sinasabi itong mga sheikhs natin. Kasi kayo lang nagsasabi na ginawa nyo yung trabaho nyo. And dapat walang reklamo eh. Hindi ba? If you say that you have done this, number one pa lang yung sinasabi ko na jurisdiction mo. If you have done this, yung timely processing, yung processing is qualified by the term timely.
Yes, sir.
So kung nagawa mo lahat ito, walang reklamo dapat. Hindi na nag-privilege speech tong dalawang kasamahan ko dito sa Kongreso.
Yeah. Sir, can I respond to that statement?
Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Yes, sir. I was onboarded by the secretary for the 2023 Hajj, despite I haven't been to Hajj since in the past. Simply because to address the stranded pilgrims in 2022. Isa po yun sa aking standing instruction, sir. Because of that, in 2023, we have 0 stranded regular paying pilgrims. That's number one. Another instruction is to make sure that the visa shall be issued in advance to the pilgrims, which have not been done in the past. And we have complied with the visa issuance in advance of their flights, 3 to 5 days in advance. 2. Three, we registered the HAJJ operations manual to serve as a public document to guide future HAJJ operations, including the 2023 HAJJ operations in the Commission. And the HAJJ manual has been registered in the National Registry of the UP Law Center. That's 3. 4, we have issued memoranda. We have issued office orders signed by the Secretary, delineating the membership of the different committees that will address and manage the HAJJ operations of 2023. And you can provide you a copy of those office orders and memoranda. 5, with regards to the treasury requirement, sometime in last year, we sent a letter to the Bureau of Treasury requesting for exemption from that application of the joint COA DBM resolution because of the material time that is lacking in the HAJJ operations, which fortunately, the Bureau of Treasury responded by approving the requests of the Commission to be exempted from the application of such joint COA DBM resolution. However, in that letter to the Commission, it was stated that for 2024, they have delineated the different steps that will now be done by the Commission in complying with such COA DBM resolution, which the NCMF will comply.
Hindi mo naman sinagot yung tanong ko, Mr. OIC. Kung ginawa mo po lahat yung enumeration under the law na trabaho mo 1 to 4, sana wala pong reklamo eh. Sana nga umaayon sa inyo sinasabi, lahat po ng taga DFA, yung mga sheiks, yung mga local provider, kayo lang naman ang nagsasabi na ginawa nyo yung trabaho ninyo eh. Pero karamihan po sa stakeholders ay nagreklamo po sa colleagues ko na dalawa para i-bring out dito po sa Kongreso yung karanasan nila. Inefficient management of the HAJJ operations. Kaya nga na-privilege speech sila. Upon the prodding of the pilgrims, kung ano yung naranasan nila. And you think, or you're telling us, na ginawa po nyo lahat yung trabaho nyo under this provision of the law, creating the commission, ay dapat sana walang reklamo eh. Hindi po natin masosolbar ang problema kung mismo yung involved na kwan dito hindi tatanggapin na may problema. We cannot solve a problem if you do not accept that there were problems. Why? Because there will be no problem to solve insofar as your agency is concerned. Nakikita namin yung problema eh. Kasi sinasabi ng mga tao. Pero you refuse to admit na meron talaga mga reklamo. So how can we solve that? Kayo mismo dapat ang mag-solve. You're the agency, the primordial agency to solve these problems. Pero kung ayaw yung tanggapin na nagkaroon ng problema, ay hindi nga natin masosolve. Iho. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Congressman Khalid, succeed.
If I can just follow up with the line of questioning of Representative Akop, Mr. Chair, I'd like to ask Executive Director Lidasan, the BPE, when did the NCMF last have a full-fledged BPE?
Sir, I think with the departure of Director Ibra, that's sometime in 2019, sir, 2018 last quarter.
He was the actual BPE.
He was appointed by the former president as the BP director, sir.
Okay, so that's 2019. And
Okay.
after 2019, NCMF has been working with the OICs.
Yes, sir. Correct, sir.
Thank you. I'd just like to so that our colleagues here will also understand. The problems of Hajj can maybe be simplified into phases. One is the collection of the fees from the pilgrims. Sometimes if you pay too late, just like traveling, you'll pay for your airfare last minute, mahal na. The same also with hotel, baka hindi na available. So one is the collection of fees. Second is the departure of the pilgrims from their home barangays, provinces, all the way to Naiya, and then departing. That includes the visas and all of that. And then third would be in Saudi Arabia. If I'm not mistaken, most of the problems the content of the privileged speeches of Representative Balindong, Representative Adiong, and also what was mentioned by the sheikhs are more on Saudi Arabia. So I'd like to ask Executive Director Lidasan, what has he done as OIC BPE to address this mishap on the service providers in Saudi Arabia, and then also to explain to the committee on the procurement system. How did you come up with these service providers that gave our pilgrims, for example, substandard food? Now they're complaining that gave our pilgrims inadequate logistics, that they had to suffer the heat of the sun. Can you please explain it to our committee on how you chose these service providers, and what is the action of NCMF now hearing that there's so many complaints?
May I answer, sir?
Please proceed.
Opo. Thank you, sir. When the Musdalifa happened, sir, Musdalifa in the city of Mina and Arafat, immediately the NCMF wrote a letter to the service providers complaining about the services rendered by the Masharik. Musdalifa, the Masair period composed of Arafat, Mina Musdalifa, the entity in charge of the operations is basically the Masharik. The Masharik is a private entity accredited by the Saudi government to administer the operations in those areas. Now, immediately, sir, when that happened, the crisis in those areas, the commission wrote a letter to the following one, to the King of Saudi Arabia, to the Masharik, to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, trying to inform them, these institutions, of what happened to our Hujjaj in those areas. That's one. Second, we also asked the assistance of our Department of Foreign Affairs to our Hajj attaché. In fact, the DMW, Department of Migrant Workers, were there together with the Jeddah Consulate and the Riyadh. I think your foreign your ambassador was also, one of the officers were there. And we asked for assistance for these agencies to assist the NCMF in those cases. And the NCMF, we will request the Hajj legal team to furnish copies of those letters to guide this committee.
Thank you. Are you finished, Honorable Khalid?
Yeah, give way to the senior.
No, walang chairman
Yeah,
eh.
I have a question.
Yeah, ako ang chairman eh.
Oh,
Kaya
okay lang.
you have the floor.
Oh, Mr. Chair, I just want to go back to the issue raised, the questions raised by Chairman Manong Romeo Acop regarding the composition of the BAC. No? My question lang ako, is the procurement team the same? The procurement committee is the same as the BAC when you send this delegation to Saudi Arabia? Are they the same?
No, sir, they are special committees, sir.
The special committee. So meaning to say they are different, the composition are different individuals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So itong sa back niyo ba, because I have here a gusto ko lang i-clarify mo sa akin ito. I have here the I think this is an office order and it was adopted on October 25, 2023. I want to go back to your previous response to my question that in January of 2023 you have already adopted the Hajj manual. Is it correct? In 2023 you have already adopted February. Okay, can you no. I'm talking about the Hajj manual. Because this is in connection with the document that I have right now. I want you to clarify with me. So you said earlier, your response to my question is that the Hajj manual was adopted sometime in February or January, no? It predated the creation of the kasi the question earlier is bakit sa discretion ng secretary yung nagsisend ng mga delegation. According to you, the Hajj manual has not yet been adopted and approved. That's why the secretary exercised his discretion to send delegates to members from your NCMF office to compose the delegation to Saudi Arabia. And you said January and then February na adopt. Is it correct?
The exact date, sir.
Yes,
This manual is
February,
January. Okay, this manual shall take effect immediately upon signing and approval by the secretary. Done in the city of Quezon, this 24th day of January 2023.
Okay, so the adopt resolution ba to, Brad? Resolution or ano? Yeah. I have a resolution here adopted on October 25, 2023. So this is how many months after the adoption of the Hajj manual, no? So here, the composition of the Special Bids and Awards Committee or the BAC, ito po yung composition niya, Chairperson Tahir R.S. Lidasan, Vice Chair Attorney Rolando Abo, Director BLO, and the members are Zainuddin Usudan, Chief BPE POD Attorney Yasser Apion, Attorney 5, and Attorney Mumina Sheldi Abdullah, Attorney 5. Now, this is the adopted resolution. This will be the members of the Special Bids and Awards Committee, meaning the BAC. No, is it correct?
So is that a resolution or office order? I think it's an office order.
Yes, it's an office order.
Yes, sir.
So
Um,
this kaya nga tinatanong kasi ito ba yung composition ng BAC nung
Okay.
pinapunta doon?
Okay.
The same ba?
Sir, actually, the in 2024 HAJJ operations, the secretary is
Wala pang 2024.
kasi sir that office order is for 2024, sir.
This is for 2024.
Yes, sir. That is for 2024
okay.
operations.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, please continue.
Okay. That office order is intended for 2024 HAJJ operations. Now, the secretary is eyeing the possibility of creating a special BAC, Bids and Awards Committee, but incorporating all the officials that are included in the HAJJ operations manual, meaning the 3 division chiefs. So if you can see the office order, sir, the head of the operations, pilgrimage operations, is on board. And then we also have 2 permanent career division chiefs in that office order. That is an offshoot of the DILG audit to the commission.
To cut you short, no? So itong the same composition that was assigned in 2022, no? Because you had also, did you head the 2023 HAJJ?
The procurement committee, no, sir.
The procurement. Sinong head ng procurement committee?
Chief Zainuddin Usudan, sir.
Chief Zainuddin Usudan. Anong position niya, John?
He's the division chief of the Pilgrimage Operations Division, POD.
So yung office mo pala, hindi yan BPE?
Sir, I'm a member of the HAJJ Oversight Committee, composed together with the commissioner, sir.
So bakit ikaw ang head nung 2022? HAJJ, na medyo nako-confuse kami.
No, 2023, sir.
2023, no?
2023, sir. 2020, yes, sir.
So sinong head nung 2023?
Okay. In 2023 HAJJ operations, the procurement committee is headed by the chief of the Pilgrimage Operations Division, together with 2 division chief and 2 or 3 additional lawyers, because this has been mandated by the HAJJ operations manual.
Yun nga, yung gusto kong kasi merong here in the kasi Mr. Chair, no, I just want,
with the indulgence of Congressman Adiong, kasing tinatanong is yung 2023 actual implementation, yung sinasabi mo yung sa manual na approve.
I have a copy,
Yung
sir.
sa 2022-2023, who heads the delegation, at the same time yung back nyo. Because the bidding happens outside of the country. Now you only have 4. Sila din mismong back?
No, sir. No, sir.
O sino yung back?
Okay, I have with me the
So
office
yung
order.
back nyo pumunta rin doon?
Yes, sir.
sinong back?
Sino back?
Sir, I have with me the office order of the BAC of 2023. Chairperson, Zainuddin Usudan, Chief of the BPE POD. Members, Omar Mandia, DMO 5. He's also the HAJJ attaché in Saudi Arabia. Camille Manalundong, a regular BAC member. Attorney Yasser Apion, Chief Attorney 5. Momina Sherin Abdullah, also an Attorney 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actual members of the Procurement Committee of HAJJ 2023.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, please proceed.
What was your position in 2023 HAJJ? Did you say you were the head of the bids and special, or did you say you were the head of the special procurement committee? Kasi sabi mo magkaiba yung bids and awards, magkaiba rin ng premium. So I want to know,
Yes, sir.
sino yung naging head nung 2023? Anong participation mo? You're the head of the procurement committee, HAJJ procurement committee, or you're the head of the bids and awards committee?
I'm the head of the regular bids and awards committee, sir.
So you are not member of the you don't head the Hajj Procurement Committee?
I do not head the special Hajj Procurement Committee.
Is that based on the discretion of the secretary or is that based on the manual?
That's based on the manual.
In the manual, it says here,
Yes, sir.
sabi ko, baka mali, no? Director, medyo careful ka po sa answer ha, kasi nakikinig si Chair Romeo. In the Hajj manual, it says here that the the Hajj Procurement Committee shall be headed by the secretary. Your position is BPE, di ba?
Sir,
OIC BPE. So your positions, you're supposed to head the Hajj Procurement Committee. This is based on your Hajj manual.
sir, I think you're referring to letter B, Annual Hajj Conference. Nakalagay po dito, composition of the Philippine delegation and Hajj Procurement Committee.
No. I'm talking about the actual membership of the Hajj Procurement Committee,
Yes, sir.
which is supposed to be headed by you as an OIC.
No, sir. No, sir.
What?
In the Hajj Operations Manual, nakalagay po dito, the Hajj Procurement Committee shall in turn be composed of the following. Ito po, I'm reading the Hajj Operations Manual. Chairman.
Yeah, I have here also your Hajj operating manual.
Yes, sir. So, ano po, page 7, Chairman, Chief of BPE, POD, members, at least 2 division chief. And then, kasi siya pinagsama po sa letter B, kasi yung annual Hajj conference members at saka sa procurement committee.
Mhm. Ano po pinagsama?
Nilagay po sa letter B. Sir, yung title ng letter B is Annual Hajj Conference. Pero kung basahin mo yung kanyang provisions, nakalagay, sir, is composition of the Philippine delegation and Hajj Procurement Committee, nakahiwalay po dun sa provisions.
So, ibig sabihin kung ano yung trabaho mo, supposedly you are in charge of entering into negotiation with the local providers, or do you select the local providers? Do you do that?
No, sir. No,
So
sir.
that's a separate.
Separate, sir.
Andito ba siya yung sa head ng bids in awards?
Hindi ko pa.
Wala.
Sino ba yung head ng bids and awards?
So ano po, the
Not in
regular,
the manual,
the
ah.
Hajj,
Yung
That-
actual.
Actual, noong
The actual, sir, ano po?
2022-2023.
Zainuddin Usudan, sir.
Is he present?
He's not invited, sir.
Oh, she will be invited, Comsec.
Yes, sir.
The head of the BAC for 2022-23 should be invited in the next hearing. Please proceed, Chairman Adiong.
I have questions here reserved for the bids and awards, Mr. Chair. Since the person that would like to ask questions is not here, then I will reserve that questions in the next committee hearing, Mr. Chair.
Chair,
Yes,
can I just
Khalid.
get a confirmation? Because we have two Hajj, 2022 and 2023. So in 2022, I'd like to ask Executive Director Ledasan, is Usudan the head of the Bidding and Awards Committee for the 2022 Hajj? And then from what I understand, Usudan is the head of the Bid and Awards Committee for the 2023 Hajj. I just want a confirmation.
I am not.
Please
I am not
proceed.
privy to the membership of the 2022 Hajj Procurement Committee, but we will check in the officer the
So
membership.
when we invite Usudan, he will only be capable of answering the bidding and awards for the 2023 Hajj. Am I correct in saying this? He will not be able to answer questions in regards to complaints and service providers on the 2022 Hajj experience. We have this year and last year's Hajj. Every Hajj may problema.
For
No,
this year
yeah.
lang, for this year.
We're
Chair.
talking about
Yeah,
for this year. Okay.
For this year. Pero,
No, no,
Mr. Chair.
no. For 2022, who is the head of the BAC?
Sir, hindi pa kami sigurado, but we will check in the office po. Sino po yung head ng 2022?
Hindi
ko
kayo
pa-
sigurado.
Hindi ko pa alam, sir.
Secretary, You're the head of office. Do you know the head of the BAC for 2022?
The head of that special back or HAJJ procurement committee was Sinudin Usudan.
For 2022?
Yes.
Oh, so we'll
Yes.
invite also, no?
Sinudin
next
Usudan
hearing.
po, Sinudin
So
Usudan.
that he can answer query with regards to procurement. Please proceed.
Let para klaro po yung kayo yung head ng 2023 na HAJJ procurement. Para klaro para
No,
klaro.
no, sir, no. I cannot be the head because I'm also the end user.
Okay.
I'm not.
But you're not privy to the composition of the bids and awards committee for 2023. You were not. You did that, no? Is that part of your
I know, sir. I know, sir.
Okay. Can you state the names of the members para for next, Mr. Chair, for next committee hearing? So
Okay.
we can invite them.
Yes, sir. Number one, we have the chairperson,
Mhm.
Chief Senudin Usudan. We have the members, Omar Mandia, who is currently in Saudi Arabia as a Hajj attaché. We also have Chief Camille Manalundong. We have Attorney Yasser Apion, and we have Attorney Mia.
Yes, okay, thank you. Mr. Chair, may I just a follow-up?
Before you proceed, COMSEC is directed to invite all those person mentioned as member of the BAC for 2023. Please proceed.
Again, I don't know if you're knowledgeable to respond to my questions. But then again, Mr. Chair, do we have all those names that you mentioned or not present today?
Attorney Mia is present. Sir. Attorney Mia is present, sir.
Okay, so you're a member of the bids and awards.
If I may, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I am member of the Special HAJJ Procurement Committee for 2023.
So you're not the part of the bids and awards committee.
Mr. Chair, for purposes of the HAJJ operations, it is only for 2024, the office order that was cited earlier,
Yeah.
that the commission constituted the special HAJJ BAC, which included not only members but also secretariat as well as technical working group. For previous HAJJ operations, meaning 2022, 2019, and back, sir, what we have is a special HAJJ procurement committee. For 2023, sir, we have an office order which was issued in January 31, 2023, office order number 0123035, which delineates, sir, which indicated not only the members of the procurement but also a committee on a HAJJ procurement oversight, Mr. Chair.
So when did you create the composition of the HAJJ procurement committee again?
In January 31, 2023, Mr. Chair, via office order signed by the Secretary.
So that we're talking about 2023 HAJJ.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When was it? Kailan po?
January 31, 2023, Mr. Chair.
January 31. So the HAJJ procurement committee is different from the composition of the HAJJ
Yes,
Philippine delegation. They're
Yes.
two different things.
yes, Mr. Chair. As per the HAJJ operations manual, the Philippine delegation refers to those to the party
Manual.
headed by.
Pero
Sorry, Attorney.
Yes, Mr.
You're
Chair.
talking about the manual. What we're talking is the actual
Actual.
implementation on 2023 HAJs.
Yes, Mr. Chair. So
Now,
for
ang tanong lang, magkaiba.
yes,
yung-
Mr. Chair.
So, yung
HAJJ
special procurement committee na binuo nyo pumunta din ng Saudi.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Magkaiba doon sa
HAJJ
HAJs
delegation.
delegation.
Iba
Yes,
pa yung
Mr.
bids
Chair.
and awards.
Iba pa yung bids and awards.
The bids and awards, Mr. Chair, is the HAJJ procurement committee for
Pero I've
2023.
been asking you if you are members of the HAJJ procurement. You said no. Hindi na nagugulan ako din, Mr. Chair.
May I clarify, Mr. Chair?
Wag muna yung sa manual, yung actual.
Yes,
Okay,
Mr.
please
Chair.
proceed.
So the question, Mr. Chair, if I understand it correctly, is the OIC of the Bureau of Pilgrimage and Endowment and also the Executive Director member or chair of the HAJJ Procurement Committee for 2023. The answer to that, the categorical answer to that, Mr. Chair, is no. The head of that committee, Mr. Chair, is the Division Chief of Procurement Operations Division under the BPE. The BPE, Mr. Chair, is headed by the by the director. It has
Ito sa batas ng secretary ito. Hindi ko alam kung please continue.
Yes.
Sorry.
So as I was saying, Mr. Chair, kindly indulge yours truly, Mr. Chair. The BPE is comprised of two divisions. That's the Pilgrimage Operations Division, headed by Chief Zainuddin Usudan, as well as the Endowment Operations Division, headed by Mr. Chief Abang Maruhom Salik. So for the Hajj Procurement Committee, Mr. Chair, it is headed for 2023 as well as 2022. It is headed, Mr. Chair, by the Division Chief of the Pilgrimage Operations Division and not the Director of the BPE, which is OIC Director Tahir Lidasan, Mr. Chair.
So Director Tahir Lidasan did not head the Hajj Procurement Committee.
No, Mr. Chair.
Sino?
It's Mr. Zainuddin Usudan, Mr. Chair, as the Chief of Pilgrimage Operations Division.
So earlier, it was Director Lidasan who went there as the head of the Hajj,
No,
delegation.
Mr. Chair. We have an evaluation. No, Mr. Chair.
Unless I was hearing
The procurement committee, if I may, Mr. Chair, the procurement committee, Mr. Chair, has an evaluation report, and in that evaluation report, Mr. Chair, which we will submit to the honorable committee, as we had submitted it also to the DILG, it indicates the actual members of the procurement, which coincides, Mr. Chair, in the office order creating the procurement committee. So only the members of the procurement committee headed and was involved in the procurement, Mr. Chair, as well as the oversight procurement committee and its focal person, Attorney Mangay Guro, Mr. Chair. Director Tahir Lidasan was not involved in the procurement, Mr. Chair.
So Mr. Chair, let me go back to my questions. I'm sorry for my ignorance kasi hindi rin to katulad ni Director, hindi pa ako nakapag-Hajj. No? So tatlong klase ito. I was asking if the back is different from the Hajj procurement. Sabi ni Director Lidasan, magkaiba. Ngayon, upon asking questions, tapos ang response is ang naintindihan ko, tatlo yan. May Hajj procurement, may Hajj delegation, conference, tapos may bids. Tanong ko ulit, sino ang head ng procurement? Noong 2023, ang sabi sa akin ni Director Lidasan, hindi ikaw, no? Hindi ikaw yung head. Okay. So, sino ang head? Procurement.
Mr. Chair, the Pilgrimage Operations Division Chief Zainuddin Usudan, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So, sa bids and awards, sino yung head?
So, if I may reiterate, Mr. Chair, the Bids and Awards Committee is non-existent for 2023 backwards, Mr. Chair, and that is why for 2024, the office order that was cited now, as it was pointed
So
out
if it's not existed, ibig sabihin kay Director yung power niyan.
it was the procurement, if the question, Mr. Chair, is who
Napunta.
conducted the bidding, it was the members of the procurement committee who conducted the bidding process, Mr. Chair, and sila din po yung umalis sa
kayo
Saudi
na.
Arabia.
So clear siya
Yes,
na kayo lang, wala nang bids and awards, wala pa.
yes, Mr. Chair, wala pa po.
Okay. So procurement. So yung sa procurement, di ba, pagdating nyo ng Saudi Arabia, di ba sinabi nyo, sinabi nyo, do you want to ask questions? No? Okay. Sinabi nyo kanina na, sabi ni Secretary, may signing ng contract. Di ba? Of course, signing of contract that would also involve identifying the local providers, the hotels, the accommodations, etc. Sa hotels. So do you do that?
As for the bidding, Mr. Chair, if I may clarify, we are referring po to the actual bidding process that was done for 2023. If that was the question, sir.
No, my question is very simple. Since there's no bidding, I'm talking about the 2023. Sabi nyo, wala pa. Walang
Yes,
bids
Mr.
and
Chair.
awards. So procurement lahat.
Yes,
Hajj
Mr. Chair.
procurement committee. It's different from the back. Sabi nga, different from the back. So when you do the signing of contracts, does it also involve identifying the local service providers for the hotels, the transportation, the food? Do you do the signing na there?
Mr. Chair, to clarify po, wala pong back, the title back itself for 2023, but there was bidding for 2023, which was conducted po by the procurement
Why is the
committee.
bidding? Wala namang committee on bids and awards. Procurement kayo eh. Diretso na kayo nabibili. Dapat merong bidding yan. Sino yung lowest or di ba?
So that is
So ibig sabihin you go directly to the local, depende na sa inyo kung sinong bibigyan nyo.
no, Mr. Chair, there was a bidding process was conducted and it
There's no bidding
indicated.
process because you only have a procurement. I'm not a lawyer, Iha.
Yes po.
Gamitin ko lang yung ano. Pero the way I understand it and the way you responded to my question is there's a separate, there's no, tinanong ko, is the back, the procurement, HAJJ procurement committee different from the bids and awards? You said yes. So that also entails different, mandate and
If I may.
So before you ako layman's yung understanding ko. Before you procure pag halimbawa sa government because you'll be using government money. There has to be a bidding first before you can enter into a contract. And that's where you procure services. And that's the job of the Committee on HAJJ Procurement, di ba? Isn't it? So what you're telling now, there's no bids and awards committee, and yet you do that part. So parang hindi ko maintindihan. Yes, to expound on that, Mr. Chair.
No, let's ask COA. COA, hindi po ba when we procure goods, services, kailangan may bids and awards committee if we are going to use public funds?
Yes, sir.
Yes. In the case of the NCMF, these are public funds. Yun ang agreement natin kanina.
Yes, sir.
Now, they have procured services without a bids and awards committee. Is that in accordance with law and the procurement law?
May I answer, sir, that when we asked the NCMF, they told us that the procurement there, international at Saudi, is not governed by the RA 9184, the procurement law here.
Paano nangyari yun? Pera ng gobyerno natin yun kaya nga public funds Are you telling us that you do not have the jurisdiction to audit the expenditure of public funds if it is spent in a foreign country?
We have the authority. That's why we are clarifying it from NCMF, sir.
Therefore, Madam COA, kailangan i-audit ninyo yun.
Yes,
Di ba?
sir.
Because I do not see any reason why public funds of the government of the Philippines is spent abroad by a government agency cannot be audited by COA.
We audited that. In fact, the scope and the content of the subject matter of the compliance audit for 2022 and 2023, we are auditing now is the HAJJ operation.
With the statements of the NCMF
Yeah.
that they conducted procurement of services without constituting an official bids and awards committee, is that in accordance with our procurement law?
We have to look further into that because we need to issue an audit observation memorandum.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, can a government agency using public funds conduct the procurement of services without constituting an official bids and awards committee?
No, sir.
No. Yung ginawa ninyo illegal na
Mr. Chair, pwede
If we follow the opinion of the Commission on Audit.
Yes, attorney.
If I may, Mr. Chair, Yes, that observation, Mr. Chair, was the same observation that was given to us by the DILG, and that is why, Mr. Chair, the office order that was just read by now by the Honorable Congressman Zia Alonto Adiong, wherein we created the special back for Hajj, we also indicated that there has to be a secretariat and TWG to comply with it, Mr. Chair. But as to our legal basis, Mr. Chair, why we have been conducting that in that manner, if the Director of our Bureau on Legal Affairs, Mr. Chair, could further explain.
Yeah, but let me respond to that, Mr. Chair. But the one that I read to you, Mr. Chair, is for the 2024. So we're talking about the 2023. Ito yung allegations of mishandling na ano. Mr. Chair, may I request that to recognize one of the local providers, Mr. Chair, because I believe kung okay lang, Mr.
Please proceed. Please proceed.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Mr. Chairman, nandun po ako sa during that time, no? In fact, as I mentioned, ako yung mga nag-ticket doon sa yung binabasa natin na procurement, no? So, as far as I know, doon sa regular na bidding, doon sa presentation ko, nandun ako, hindi po yan, if you're talking about bidding talaga. So, ang lumabas doon, parang doon sa last hour, tinapos na. Tinawag kami, lahat ng service provider, if I'm not mistaken, 8 kami, or 9. Tapos, binigyan kami ng oras. Ako yung pinakahuli na kinausap. So, ang tinuturo sa akin na area, according kay Attorney Mangay Guru Jr., sabi niya, dito ka lang pwede magbigay ng hotel. So medyo nakipag-ano ako kasi itong payment na ito belong to the pilgrimage. I representing the people of the Philippines para magkaroon ng choices. Sabi nila, dito ka lang sa Misbala. Sabi ko, what is Hajj? Misbala is Hajj? Ang Hajj is Yawmul Arafah. We have to focus what is the really of Hajj. So yun na nga, nag-opera ako ng 3 categories, hindi tayo binigyan ng chance. Tapos, sabi ko, ba't kukunin ng hotel na yan? It was taken already. No? Kasi nagtuturo sila sa hotel na doon, yun lang daw ang i-represent ko. So, doon sa talking about bidding talaga, I am confident na hindi dumaan ito sa regular na bidding. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Thank you, sir, for that manifestation. Anyway, doon sa manual, nilagay niyo doon na pwede mag-create ng special back, di ba? Pero special back is allowed under Republic Act 9184 if deemed necessary. Ang mahalaga doon is to establish a single back. So, i-establish niyo muna yung back. Now, kung hindi kaya ng back, yung single back na sinasabi ng 9184, saka kayo, if deemed necessary, saka kayo mag-create ng special back. Pero for 2022-2023, I do believe na hindi dumaan to sa bidding process because wala nga kayong back eh. In which that's violation of Republic Act 9184. Secretary. If you don't have a back and you procure services, that's violation of the law.
We were guided by the legal opinions of the Bureau Director of NCMF, Attorney Rolando Abo. May I request that he be allowed to say something on this?
Please, Attorney.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, now, Republic Act 9184 contemplates funds from the GAA. When we talk about spending funds from the GAA, we talk about ABC, approved budget for the contract. And the HAJJ fees, which is not a regulatory fees, like when you pay motor vehicle fees, that becomes property of funds of the LTO, for instance. When we receive the funds from the pilgrims, they do not become the funds of the NCMF. Now, 9184 contemplates the funds from the GAA. And these HAJJ fees are not, although we may say that it is a public fund because
So meaning to say, just to cut you, meaning to say you can do anything with it?
No,
Because it's not
No,
your
no,
fund?
no, I am not,
Mr. Chair.
if I may, Mr.
May I?
Chairman, I am not driving a point, I'm sorry.
Please proceed, please proceed.
I'm not trying to drive to that point, Mr. Chairman, that we can do everything about that fund. We cannot strictly follow 9184. That is why we use the term procurement to avoid, because we don't have the ABC yet, Mr. Chairman. When we conduct procurement abroad, although we do bidding there, we submit RFQ, we send RFQ to the service providers to give semblance of transparency, Mr. Chairman. Because if we use the word bidding, we may be bound by the strict provision of 9184. We have not collected yet the funds from the pilgrims. Despite of the fact that we are not collected yet the HAJJ fees, we go there to conduct procurement. We send a request for quotation from the service providers there. So that is why we use the word procurement, not bidding. So to avoid, and that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Chair,
Yes,
May I-
Chairman Akop.
that is your opinion.
Yeah.
That is your opinion as a lawyer. Oh, do you have a basis for that? A legal basis?
It's 9184, Mr. Chairman. It says
No, it
there.
does not provide what you are saying. Even if you ask COA, why? Because you're basing your argument that because the the funds paid by the pilgrims would not be placed in the GAA and therefore cannot be the subject of a bids and awards operation. I'm going to tell you, and if I will ask COA if the COA will agree with me. There's such a book as budget of expenditure and sources of funds. Tama po, Madam COA?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And in that book, nakalagay doon yung tax and non-tax revenues of government.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And yung tax and non-tax revenues of government, kasama po doon yung binabayad ng mga pilgrims because it assumes the semblance of a public fund and a
Yes.
source of fund. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Attorney. And therefore, the non-tax and tax revenues of government are not placed in the GAA, but they are funds of government, Mr. Attorney.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, please.
Please proceed.
Kaya nga yun
Sige nga.
ang basis mo dahil hindi nandun sa GAA, walang Bids and Awards Committee. I will beg to disagree with that and I can debate with you. We're at the same level because we're both lawyers.
If I may, Mr. Chairman.
Before you respond, isn't it precisely because of this problem that you came up with the Bids and Awards Committee for 2024? Hindi ba? And you still maintain that position? Di ba dahil dito nagkaroon ng problema kaya ang gusto ng DILG based on the audit is kailangan merong Bids and Awards Committee. Dahil may problema na ganito, diretso na kayo nagpo-procure without the bidding. Di ba? Let me again, COA, may I go
If
back
I
to
may,
COA?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, please.
Attorney, please.
Yes, one question that bothered us, Mr. Chairman, is that 9184 requires publication of the ABC. Before before we have collected the HAJJ fees, what amount should we publish? For purposes of informing the prospective bidders how much our ABC.
Attorney, would you still maintain that position of yours, your legal opinion?
No, what we are adopting, Mr. Chairman, please, is we adopt the alternative modes of procurement, which is allowed, Mr.
No,
Chairman.
now,
Okay.
now your argument is the different modes of, a while ago you're saying, for as long as funds that is not in the GAA is not subject to bidding. Ngayon, iba na naman.
No,
Ay, attorney, I'm not a lawyer, pero huwag ka magpalusot.
no,
Huwag
Mr.
ka magpalusot. Attorney, di ba, balik ko lang sa iyo, di ba sabi mo kanina, funds that are not reflected in the GAA is not subject to bid. Yun yung sabi mo kanina.
What I was saying earlier, Mr. Chairman, is that we cannot strictly observe the public bidding required by
No.
184.
Ito ngayon yung sinasabi mo, modes of bidding. Bago tayo pumunta doon, sinabi mo kanina, basta wala sa GAA, will not be subject to bidding. Di ba?
Panyero.
Attorney, Mr. Chair,
Huwag ka
Attorney,
Mr.
can you interpret this? I want your legal opinion on this, Attorney. Republic Act 9184, where you're referring to the same law. Section 4, scope and application. This act shall apply to the procurement of infrastructure, projects, goods, and consulting services regardless of source of funds, whether local or foreign, regardless of the source of funds. I'm quoting this a section from the same law that you just referenced earlier, 9184. So I want your legal opinion on this. Tama ba? Very clear, no? Elementary. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand that.
Yes, that's correct.
So does that? So am I correct in saying that your legal opinion previously, earlier, is opposite to what the law has said?
What I was saying earlier, Mr. Chairman.
I'm
is
just
that-
quoting the law that you reference, kanina.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chairman. What I was saying earlier, Mr. Chairman, is the nomenclature of using procurement as against bidding.
No,
Because
no.
we may be bound by strict provision of 9184.
Gusto mo ipabasa ko yung minutes of the meeting? It's being recorded there. Look, nandun yung mga stenographers namin. Baka ikaw mapahiya. As a matter of fact, the lady lawyer said a while ago, even the ILG came up with their observation.
That's exactly
What was the observation, Madam Lawyer?
Their observation, Mr. Chair, is similar to the observation earlier pointed out, which is there has to be a bids and awards committee. And that is why the office
Panyero.
order.
Huwag muna kami ulit. I've been a congressman for, I think, my 12th year already. Oo. And I've been dealing with the budget. Para sabihin ko rin po sa inyo, ako po ay naging controller na ng Philippine National Police, kaya alam ko kung paano basahin yung budget na yan. And do not tell me that. Dahil alam ko kung ang sources of funds, because I read yung BESF. If ever you come to read this kind of book, these are sources of funds insofar as the government is concerned. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. We want to proceed.
I will, Mr. Chair, we have a committee, I'm sorry, a plenary. I will just simply reserve my other questions once ano yung kanina, yung sinabi ni Director, yung pangalan, na nandito na po sila. Oo. Kasi gusto ko pong i-clarify.
I'll give you parting shot, Mr. Chair.
Oh, baka si Chairman,
Before we suspend and the parting shot of Congressman Chairman Akop, Attorney
Haronali.
you want to speak?
Yes po.
I'll just give you. You have to take your oath.
Yes po, I'm willing to.
I will just give you 5 to 7 minutes, please. Comsec, please administer the oath. Please proceed and identify yourself.
I am Attorney Harun Ali, also a serial lawyer. I am the counsel of the service providers and also a chairman of the Ummati Philippine. I am representing the sentiment of the Muslim Filipinos. So in this particular instance, as we have observed that there are so many lapses of the NCMF insofar as their function is concerned, since according to the Republic Act 3497, their only power is to supervise the Hajj, not to control. In this particular instance, the NCMF acted as middleman between the contract of the service provider and the Hajj. According to the principle of laissez-faire, the government prohibits the government agencies to interfere with the contract between private entities like HAJJ and service provider, because this is an economic freedom of every company. So in this particular instance, the government should prohibit its agency to become a middleman to this contract in order that this private agency should pay taxes not to the private entity. In this particular case, the NCMF violated the Manito Republic Act 1997 and also violated the constitutional provision that separation research and the state should be inviolable. Therefore, the HAJJ is one of the pillars of Islam. The NCMF should not interfere with this purely religious matter. And secondly, the NCMF also violated the freedom of travel. They imposed 30 days travel to Hajj instead of 10 days or 5 days. They have no choice except to stay there for 30 days. So, they sacrifice their offices, their business, their family because of this imposition of 30 days staying in the Hajj, despite the fact that only 1 day is Hajj, Yomul Arafah. The rest, at least, the rest are at least Sunnah for 5 days. So in this case, the freedom of choice also is also violated by NCMF because the Hajj has the right to choose what to eat, where to stay, where to ride. So in this particular instance, they have no right where to stay, what to eat. They're eating eggs and noodles. They pay the exact amount of money to eat helpful food, but they fail to provide this kind of food to this Hajj. That is why we are clamoring, in behalf of the Filipino Muslims, we are clamoring for the immediate privatization of the Hajj so that we can enjoy this. Because if it is privatized, the private service providers should be held liable once they breach a contract. So in this particular case, we cannot sue this service provider in Saudi Arabia because it should be the NCMF should sue this service provider in Saudi Arabia who breached the contract. So if it is privatized, we can ask the private service provider to pay moral damages and to pay actual damages with the Hajj. So we have no option. That is the rationale behind. We have to privatize this. First option is to lead the NCMF, not to handle Hajj, this 2004, because they have no control, only to supervise as mandated in Republic Act 997, while the amendment of this Republic 997 is still ongoing. So our first solution is to require the NCMF not to handle the Hajj, to give it to private entities, so that we can enjoy the smart Hajj. Yes. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you, Attorney Ali, for that manifestation. And we will take note on that. Well, in fact, some members of the House has already an idea about what you have said. But of course, it should be validated in this hearing. And we will have a recommendation to a committee report with regards to what will happen to the management of the Hajj. And we will also consider your suggestion and opinion with regards to it.
Mr. Chair, Mr.
Yes,
Chair.
Chairman Ako.
may I follow up on the statements of Attorney Ali?
Please proceed, Chairman Ako.
I do not know if the OIC of BPE would agree that under the law, the Ali, ganun po ba?
We have actually given the pilgrims choices in choosing their.
Hindi, di mo naman ako sinasagot eh.
I'm sorry, sir.
Ang tanong ko, hindi tama yung sinasabi ni Attorney Ali na kayo ang pumili sa lahat, hindi po yung pilgrims. Yun ang punto ni Attorney Ali. But under the law, the pilgrims shall be accorded free choice of travel agencies and airlines or other means of transportation to and from the site of pilgrimage. Ako nakikinig ako eh. Iho,
Mr. Chair, if I may.
hindi pa naman sinasagot yung tanong ko. Hindi naman ikaw ang tinatanong ko, Panyera eh. Di ba? Ang tinatanong ko yung OIC ng DPE. Kasi siya ang in charge dito, pursuant to Republic Act 997. This is part of your jurisdiction.
Correct, sir.
Yes, that is why you're the one I'm asking. Dahil yung allegation ni Attorney Ali, you did not provide the pilgrims freedom of choice. When under the law, it is mandated that the pilgrims shall be given the right to choose.
We have accorded pilgrims the freedom of choice with
Kaya
regards
nga,
to
ang
travel
tanong ko
agencies.
ngayon, yun ang sagot mo kanina, are you trying to tell this committee that what Attorney Ali stated in this committee after he has taken his oath are all lies? Or you did not know the statements of Attorney Ali?
I do not know the statement.
Hindi ka nakikinig.
Yes, sir.
Di ba? At least, you're brave enough to accept na hindi mo narinig o hindi ka nakikinig sa sinasabi ni Attorney Ali. He was stating a while ago na hindi nyo binigyan yung pilgrims ng freedom of choice. Yun ang sinabi niya, basically. And that is why I'm asking you, being the head of the BPA, in charge under the law of these operations, kung totoo.
Yes, sir.
Sabi mo, hindi totoo. And therefore, what you're trying to tell me, or this committee, is that sinungaling si Attorney Ali.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Again, I stand with my position that we have given the HOJJ full choice of their own travel agencies and airlines.
Kami na nga lang ngayon na mag-judge kung sino sa inyong dalawa ang nagsasabi ng
Yes, sir.
totoo.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Anyway, last na lang, Attorney.
Mr. Chair, if
After
I-
this, we'll suspend because may last parting words pa si after an attorney, last parting words ni Chairman Akop, then we'll suspend this hearing because we have still a session. Ako magsasalita pa ko doon, then may PS pa si Congressman Ali. Please proceed, Attorney.
Yes, Mr. Chair, just a clarification po on the statement that was said earlier by Attorney Ali. He said, if my memory serves me right, Mr. Chair, that the commission forced the pilgrims to stay in Saudi Arabia for 30 days. And therefore, we have violated our mandate, Mr. Chair, under RA 9997 to accord the pilgrims free choice of travel agencies. Mr. Chair, may I point the second sentence, the proviso part of the RA 9997, Mr. Chair, which provides the pilgrim shall be accorded free choice of travel agencies and airlines or other means of transportation to and from the site of pilgrimage, provided that that pilgrims comply with the prescribed arrival and departure schedule fixed by the Ministry of Hajj of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Mr. Chair, in the succeeding hearings, if we will be allowed, we will be presenting one of those matters, Mr. Chair, that is mandatory on the part of the NCMF that we have to provide, Mr. Chair, to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah and the GACA, General Aviation. The GACA, Mr. Chair, is the flight schedules. So we are bound by this, Mr. Chair, not only by RA 9997, but also by the GACA, by Saudi Arabia policy, for us to provide travel flight schedules, Mr. Chair. From these flight schedules, Mr. Chair, the Commission does not control the choice of the pilgrims to select kung kailan po sila aalis at kailan po sila uuwi. So that what I'm saying, your Mr. Chair, is that we do not impose the 30 days stay of the pilgrims, Mr. Chair, in Saudi Arabia. In fact, Mr. Chair, it will be shown, Mr. Chair, in the succeeding hearings, hopefully, that one of the problems that we have is that we do not have control over the date flights that will be chosen by the pilgrims, so much so that if they choose, Mr. Chair, to select from among the flight details that we are bound to submit to the GACA, if most of them choose to select those flights na papa-end na po, nagkakaproblema po kami doon sa accommodation. That's one. Number two, madalas din po nagiging problema natin is yung changes of flights na ginagawa po ng ibang mga pilgrims over which we cannot control because the law says they have free choice of travel. So there are instances, Mr. Chair, na basta-basta na lamang sila nag-change ng flight. And when that happens, the entire Hajj operations, which is supposed to be in a clockwork, naaapektuhan po yung mga accommodation na ipapasok na po sa portal because of those changes of flights, because we cannot control kung aling date ang gusto nila, kung gusto nilang magbago ng date ng flight even if nakasecure na sila. We cannot even ask them mandatorily to provide us this date. All we can do, Mr. Chair, is asahan ang aming relasyon sa ating mga sheikh at sa mga travel agencies to kindly, we request them to provide us these flight details. If we will discuss, Mr. Chair, the operations, this will be shown po paano po siya nagsasanga-sanga na problema because of this free choice of travel, Mr. Chair. But the bottom line, Mr. Chair, is we are not saying that Attorney Harun Ali here, a fellow Muslim, is a liar, Mr. Chair. What we are saying is that the statement that we are forcing that 30-day stay is incorrect, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney. Anyway, you reserve your answer in the next hearing. I hope you understand yeah, we have no material time as of now. Chairman Ako, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lapit lang. Mr. Chair, we have with us the official statement of the Department of Foreign Affairs. And in their official statement, there were certain issues raised upon the arrival of our pilgrims in Medina. For example, refusal of entry for undisclosed immigration violations in the past, or ignorance of customs and quarantine prohibitions. Until their departure in Jeddah, late and disorganized ferrying of pilgrims, and unsystematic distribution of passports and boarding passes, which led to missed flights and misplaced luggages. Now, during the actual Hajj rites in Makkah, Mina, Arafat, Musdalifah, many pilgrims who spent more than 320,000 pesos each complained about the poor and unsatisfactory services of the government contracted service providers. Among the problems raised were inadequate supply and substandard quality of food, inadequate medical supplies, overcrowded accommodation, including insufficient beddings and poor ventilation in Mina tents and lack of transportation. A delay during the transfer of pilgrims from Musdalifah to the Mina area left hundreds of thousands of international pilgrims stranded under the heat of the sun for hours. There also have been reports that the above-mentioned service providers were engaged with and contracted through questionable intermediaries. Yun po yung statement ng PAN. It may also be noted that issues of unsettled bills with contractors from previous years are yet to be completely resolved. A previously contracted service provider, Maad Halmasia Company, sent a letter dated 14 February 2023 regarding unsettled obligations for Hajj services rendered in 2022. Now, if I give a brief, shall we say, bullet presentation of the privileged speech of the Honorable Yasser Alonto Balindong, sinabi rin po niya, number one, that the 2023 Haji is the most expensive Haji to date. In addition to the published $3,501 or almost 192,000 pesos, excluding the cost of the tickets, that's excluding the cost of the tickets to and from Saudi Arabia, the NCMF still required the pilgrims to pay $63 or 3,456 more, allegedly for ground services. Although $428 or 23,498 for ground services had already been previously paid and included in the published Haji fees. The Honorable Balindong does not know the legal basis of these additional fees, according to him. As the full schedule of fees should have been published before application for the 2023 Hajj. Now, the NCMF contracted the services for hotel and tent services to a certain Muwat Arishi of Aber International Limited Company, a relatively new company. And the observation as given by the Honorable Balindong are similar to the observations of the DFA. Ngayon, ang tanong, DFA, do you stand by your observations? Yes or no?
Mr. Chair, yes, because these are based only upon, we have no direct contact to Jeddah. We base our observations on the reports of our Consulate General in Jeddah and our embassy in Riyadh, sir.
Marami pong salamat. And I believe the Honorable Balindong would not deliver his privileged speech if he will not stand with the contents of his privileged speech. Di po ba, Your Honor? Yes. The sheikhs, do you agree with these observations? The local provider, do you agree with these observations also? Yes. Ang hindi nilang nag-agree, talaga nasa MF, di po ba? Do you agree with these observations? The commissioners of NCMF, are you not also the recipient of complaints from pilgrims coming from the Philippines? Or you do not listen to the cries of your constituents?
Mr. Chairman, Your Honor, we do not agree and we will explain that po in the proper time.
So you do not agree with what happened?
Gusto namin po ipaliwanag yung tunay na
Hindi,
nangyayari.
tinatanong ko po kasi, you do not agree with all these observations, the observations of the Honorable Alonto and Honorable Balindong, the observation of the Department of Foreign Affairs, the observation of the sheikhs, the observation of the local providers. Kayo na lang ang hindi, Juan. Are you not in a very not so envious position sa nangyayari? So, Mr. Chair,
Hello,
ito po yung
hello po,
sitwasyon. If we look and analyze this, nandun po ang susi doon sa pagpili kung sino ang mga service providers. Sino kaya ang pumili ng mga service providers na yung service providers na yon hindi tama yung serbisyo na ibinigay nila doon sa ating mga pilgrims. Yun po ang susi nito. Speaking as an investigator. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Anyway, sabi ko
Mr.
na nga,
Chair, may I speak po? In
about-
behalf of the commissioners,
I will just give you 3 minutes because you have to
Yes,
spend.
thank you.
Please proceed.
yes, opo. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I agree somehow with the food problem, the lack of food, the transportation problem, and the accommodation. Opo. Nagkaroon po ng problema talaga. Pero from someone who experienced Hajj for 3 times, alam po ito ng mga sheikh, hindi po ito bago. And we from NCMF, we admit that. Opo, may problema po talaga dyan at kailangan natin yung pagtulungan. In fact, the sheikh were empowered. Mas in-empowered sila ngayong 2023 Hajj. Binigyan po sila ng memorandum para gawin ang lahat upang i-assist po ang ating 7,500 pilgrims. Remember, this is 7,500. Hindi po ito makakaya ng 100 empleyado ng NCMF. So maraming problema, opo. And we disagree to privatize the NCMF. This is a profit-driven suggestion ng mga businessmen. So if we're really concerned about the people, about our Hujjaj, we should not privatize the Hajj. Bakit? Nagkaroon ng problema ang masyair or ang problema ng pagkain, ng accommodation. Sheikh knows this. Pagkain ng accommodation at saka ng transportation because privatize ng Saudi ang mga providers ng Saudi. In fact, from Muassasa last 2 years ago, naging masyarit na ngayon na nagkaroon ng malaking adjustment at problema sa Mina. Doon kasi nagkaroon ng masyadong malaking problema. So, pag-privatize nila, ang lahat na ni bago. Lahat na ni bago, lahat nag-adjust. Remember, 2 years, hindi nagkaroon ang Saudi Arabia ng ganitong kalaki. The biggest Hajj contingent sa Saudi Arabia. Hindi nagkaroon ng ganito. Only 2023. Kaya nabigla ang lahat. Even the private providers na bago ngayon, which is masyair, right? This is used to be a government-owned service provider, muassasa. So we disagree because privatization is a profit-driven proposal and we will protect the Muslim Ummah. And yes, we refute that the 2023 should be defined by Musdalifa incident or by the food accommodation, the transportation. We refute. This should be remembered. Na walang naiwang pilgrims. This is very crucial. For 30 years, kapag nandoon ka sa airport, I'm sure the Sheikh will agree to this. Every time pupunta ka sa airport, wala pa ang visa mo. 1 hour before ng flight mo, doon pa darating. And we made a lot of change during 2023. As apart from what BPE director said, you have to listen. You have to listen po. Maraming pagbabago ang nangyari during 2023. We have all the reports. We may not be able to reiterate this, to articulate this, but we all have the reports. Ako, a very critic of how we handle this Hajj. I can say that. Pero this year, nakita ko, it may not be perfect. Hindi po perfect ang inyong NCMF. Pero nakita ko po kung gaano si Secretary, the commissioners, provide the solution to give ease to the problem of Hajj. And I commend everyone who made an effort to solve the problem of Hajj 2023. In fact,
Commissioner, you have consumed your 3 minutes.
yes, give me 1 more minute, sir.
No,
Okay,
I'll just
sir.
give you. I just give you 3 minutes. You have consumed 5
Yes, sir.
minutes. Then you ask.
Thank you,
No,
sir.
you have all the time on the next hearing. I'll give you the time on the next hearing.
Thank you, sir.
You have said your piece.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Chairman Akop.
I would have lauded the good commissioner for his bravery to accept. Kasi siya lang among the commissioners ang tumanggap na mayroong problema. Kagaya ng sabi ko kanina, if you do not accept that there is a problem, we can never find a solution. Kahit na anong galing natin. Pero I find in you the bravery to accept na meron naging mga problema. And therefore, masosolve po natin. Hahanapan natin ng solusyon. Di po ba? That's why I laud your bravery to accept. Kasi ikaw lang ang matapang na nagsabi among your peers there. Ikaw lang. Kasi lahat na lang ng stakeholders sinasabi na nagkaroon ng problema. Ikaw lang ang tumanggap. Kaya napabilib mo ako ron, Mr. Commissioner. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman Akop. Congressman Balindong.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Ako rin, napabilib din ako Pero I move to adjourn, suspend.
Second.
There's a motion to suspend the hearing. Any objection, the chair is stand. The motion is approved. The next hearing will be on November 14. Yung venue is fourth floor of this building sa Commissioner Appointments Office. So November 14, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And all invited resource persons that is present today are automatically invited in the next hearing. Please be present next hearing. Thank you.